that's the hardest part, man, is differentiating that fake and what's actually genuine and real. And for me, if you have a friend that, let's say you're going through a hard time in life, right? And you're not making the right decisions, that friend will sit you down and kind of smack you back into reality, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like he'll check you. He'll tell you, hey man, you're not doing the right thing. Like these are consequences that could happen or whatever. And I think today, it's more people want to be more the fun friend or the friend that's down for anything, and the friend that's like not wanting to tell you the truth about stuff and not being real with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it seems like a lot of people nowadays want to be yes men. Like they just
Yeah.
always want to be there, kick it. They always want to be there to hang out and stuff. But when it comes to this, like the tough situations, they're kind of ghost. You know what I mean? And for me, Randy was the opposite of that. He was my guy. Like, um, yeah, he was very important to my family. Looked out for my son like he was his own. Looked out for my wife like she was family too. And I think that just that bond is what a brother means. Like somebody that's more than just a friend. They treat you like family. Literally, you don't need to be blood to be family, man. That's something I've learned over the last probably 10 years. I've learned more than any time in my life that you don't need. It's not about blood, man. Um, your
No, no,
family,
I agree.
you know.
No,
Um,
yeah, I agree. I think my friends growing up, like Ben and Randy and Brian and Eric, they were more family to me than my own family. I mean, if it wasn't for them, who knows where I would be. And I'm more than blessed to have those guys in my life growing up as kids, and all the and even outside of those guys, I had Randy's parents, Big
yeah,
Randy and Deb. They're a second set of parents to me, and Eric's mom is a second mom to me. Brian's parents were, another set of parents. And so, yeah, I mean, those, just because you're related doesn't mean that you're going to have that closeness. And Randy and the rest of the guys, they're not blood related, but they are my older brothers, my younger brothers. And
and another like for me, another thing is being there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I don't know, I don't know the right word to use, but just being there. When I first moved down here, man, I didn't know anyone down here, lonely as hell. But Randy made it a point to come visit me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was literally the first person to come visit me, and he visited me over and over. He made sure he was here on my birthday. And that's what's crazy, man. And that right there to me is like a true definition of a brother. Is he got off work, drove all the way down here. It's over 4 hours from Puyallup. He didn't get here until like 9:30 at night. We sat up and talked and just hung out. I had some other friends here that I had met while I lived, since we had lived here. Um,
mhm,
but he came over, bro. He was here until like 3:30 in the morning. He ended up getting a hotel, drove back to the hotel, literally got 3 hours of sleep, and then left to be back at work by 11 a.m. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And like to me, that it blew me away, man, because sad to say, none of my other friends would do that. They wouldn't. They're just like, no, hell no, man. That first 4 hours, I ain't driving 4 hours. You're crazy. And I got to work tomorrow. So I got, if they had to work the next day, I totally understood that. Right. But I'm like, man, I drive up there to Washington to visit you guys like once a month. And I've done that for 7 years. And it's like, y'all can't, you guys can't come down for one weekend. You know what I mean? Like, and Randy was willing to drive down after work,
exactly.
hang out with me for 5 hours, bro. Go get 3 hours of sleep and turn around and drive back to work. Like drive another 4 hours back to work. And it's like he was always there. He always made sure that I knew he had my back. He was there for me, and he knew when I moved down here it was lonely and it was hard, man. And like to me, that's what real friends, brothers, that's what they do. They be there when it's inconvenient. And I think a lot of friends are there out of convenience. Um, and Randy was definitely, he made it even when it was inconvenient to him. And to me, that was special, man. And I always cherished that.
Yeah, he's definitely one of a kind. I remember my first marriage when I was going through my divorce. I was having a hard time of it, and Brian was stationed down in California. And when I said, "Hey, I'm having a hard time with this," he flew up. We packed up my truck, and then when I drove down to his place, and I stayed there for like 3 months. While I was trying to go through my divorce. He never asked
Yeah.
why. He never asked for any reimbursement. He never did any of that. That's what guys do. For their
Yep.
buddies, and I would do everything I could for any of them as well. I
Yep.
Another time I was in pretty bad shape. Ben, he let me stay at his place. I was paying him rent, but he didn't have to open his house. But he had a spare room. He's like, yeah, sure, why not? That's just
Yep.
what guys do. That's what brothers do for each other. And luckily, I think we grew up in a time where that stuff was cherished and it was nurtured and it's just kind of, it goes along with, being friends. And I think it's these days, especially with technology, it's just like we talked
Yeah.
about it before. It's
Yep.
all these guys I see on these websites and all these Facebook groups, they're trying to find friends. They're trying to have that connection like me and you have, or me and us and Randy. They're they're having a hard time finding it. And technology, I think, has a part to do with it. I think because
Definitely.
when we were kids, we didn't have technology. I mean, when the Atari came out, it was a big thing. That was our thing. This was back in the '80s, and
Yep.
I remember Randy got the new Atari, but we spent so much time riding bikes just everywhere. We'd climb up on top of his house on the roof, and we'd jump off, and we'd go up to the high school. We'd do campovers, sleepovers, pizza parties. We did everything face to face. It was all interactive. It was all, and that's how you build that bond, And luckily, I still have all those bonds today. And I think that's where people are getting lost in this whole technology shit.
No,
They're stuck on their phones. They're stuck on their video games. They. I think it's made people more distant and more disconnected rather than
yeah.
connected.
People don't know how to they don't know how to act or communicate in front of somebody.
Yeah,
If there's not a keyboard in front of them, they don't know how to talk or communicate with a person, man. Because like I remember when I was a kid, bro, my parents, and when I because like in the summer times I go stay with my grandparents. And during the summer weekends I'd get up 7 a.m. and I'm trying to be out the door on my bike going and hang out with my buddies. And my parents and grandparents both were just like, nah, man, like your friends' parents aren't going to want you going and knocking on their door at 7 a.m. They're probably sleeping in and all that. So it was always a
yeah,
rule. My parents and grandparents was like 9 a.m. is the earliest I could leave the house. But I was up at 7. I was trying to be out. And then my rule was I had to be home. It's like, I think almost every kid from our generation, the rule was you had to be home when the streetlights came on at
pretty
dusk.
much. Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
yeah, and I mean, we were out, like you said, riding bikes, climbing trees, building forts in the woods,
Oh yeah,
riding skateboards, just exploring and just going all over on our bikes, man. Like if you had a little thing that could measure the amount of miles like you do on a car, how we put on our bikes back in the day,
like an
dude.
odometer. Yeah,
Dude, it would have been crazy to see how much we rode those things. But I mean, and like today, it's hard to get kids to go outside and play. They'd rather be on the video games. They'd rather be on the social media. Dude, it drives me crazy, man. Because as you know, I coach basketball, and so I talk to a lot of these kids. Like, why don't you guys go? Let's go meet up at the gym on the weekends, whatever, and let's go play some hoop. And they're just kind of like, you mean like besides practice during the week? They're like, man, I got video games to play. Dude, I had a kid. This is no joke, man. We were talking about training, right? And I was like asking if they wanted to start working in the off season. This kid literally was like, that's gonna cut into my 2K time. And I'm like, I was dumbfounded. Like literally, I was kind of like scratching my head. I'm like, you'd rather play the video game instead of do it in real life, like go and have fun and like get some exercise, like and just be around your teammates to create a brotherhood, because that's what a team is. Honestly, a team is a family, and you create
yeah,
that by being around each other more. And I was like, you guys would rather sit on the phone at home, each kid's at their own home, they're on their cell phone, like on a chat group, and that's how they hang out nowadays. And it's like, maybe I'm just old and I don't get it, but I can't wrap my I cannot wrap my mind around it, man. Like, how is that fun? Like, how, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that better than interacting, being with your friends in person and going and doing things? You know, it just it dumbfounds me, man. I don't get it. I think social media, like you said earlier, I think social media plays a huge part in these kids' lives, and I honestly, man, I think it's detrimental. I think it's bad. I think it's leading
Oh
these
yeah,
kids down bad paths for communication. They don't have skills anymore. Kids don't have manners for the most part.
yeah,
Unless you have unless you have really strict parents like myself, and you teach your kids that. I think these kids are being more raised by social media nowadays than their actual parents doing anything. And I think some parents, I hate to say it, but I think they use that as a daycare. Here's a phone, here's a tablet, here's the internet, go play. So I don't have to deal with you.
yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
So true. No, I completely agree, and I think it also it creates, like I said, it creates that disconnection from each other, and so
True.
even as you get, you're not going to have like Randy driving down 4 hours, for your birthday and all that. You're not going to have guys that'll go out of their way to help out a brother, to help out a friend. Fly up from California to drive down with your other friend that going through a divorce. You're going to
Yep.
find a lot of lonely guys out there that they try to have the friendships and stuff, but they never had that bonding moment. The times where you're spending in with each other, riding bikes, doing stupid shit.
Get in
And so when they
trouble.
get up, yeah, getting in trouble together. I'm not even
not
going to
not
say all the things
not
that,
too much. Not too much
not
trouble,
too
but you
much.
know what I'm saying, just
Some stuff was questionable, but yeah, it was.
yeah.
They don't. As you get older, you and a good example is, I'm down here in Texas. All you guys are up there in the Northwest, and it sucks being down here and 2,000 miles away from everybody. But at the same time, I know I can call them up anytime. They'll come down here. I'll go up there. You know, we've talked about meeting up for once a year, doing kind of a yearly thing for us. Especially,
Yep.
after Randy passed, we're like, you know what, man, we got to stick together more. We got to start doing more things. We got, I know the distance is kind of a pain in the ass, but we definitely. And I talk to these guys throughout the week, every single week. We're talking through Messenger or something like that, and it's just I don't see that these days. I don't. I see a lot of people. I'm not gonna say complaining, but they're really wanting some kind of a connection because whether they don't have real siblings in real life, or they don't have a father figure, or they don't have any kind of real male role models, because I mean, I think when guys, especially men, when they don't have a connection, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're going to get themselves in trouble. They're going to start doing bad shit, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where a lot of the other, um, hate to say it, but like these guys that go out there and shoot places up, you know, I think those are the kinds of guys and kids that they don't have connections. They don't have those friendships because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Eric and Brian and Randy and all them when I was growing up and seeing my dad go through his issues with his disease and everything, I probably would have went down a more criminal lane, you know. But because I had those guys as my rock, they were kind of the anchor that kept me on this side of the track, that kept me from going off that cliff. And I think it's one of the most fundamental foundation points for men, especially boys, to have some kind of friendship with other guys, you know,
Yeah.
because I think it builds them, it builds character, it builds trust, it builds, hey, you know what? Because you're gonna have relationships with your girlfriends or wives or whatever, your parents, but it's a different kind of relationship when you have friends. It's a, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's a camaraderie. It's just unique in any way
Mm-hmm.
possible. So I think it's detrimental to young kids these days that, if they're not having some kind of guys out there. But also, I gotta admit, the quality of guys out there is just it's it's pathetic, really. You
A
know,
man's
and
man is like is a dying breed nowadays.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like me growing up, aside from my dad because of disease, I had my grandfather who was part of the greatest generation. He's born in the I think the 20s, late 20s.
The
This guy,
boomers.
the boomer, yeah, my parents were boomers. My
Yep.
grandparents were the greatest generation. But I, growing up, I never knew like my grandfather was just, he's a man's man. I mean, he joined the military when he was a teenager, I think 17 or something like that. Um, he became an underwater welder under ships and stuff.
Oh
He
wow.
was a truck driver for like 35 years. That's where because I'm a truck driver, that's kind of where I got my love for trucks. He worked in the garden every single day. When he got home after a long day of work, he'd go out and play in his garden. Um, I mean, he just presented that manly men, the man of manly men, a man's man, because he was, don't piss him off, but he was the head of the household. He took care of the family. That was his primary role. Is like, you take care of the family, you know. And
I,
guys these days are just, they're, I don't know, they're getting soft, I guess. Maybe that's not the right
I
word for it. But
no, I
they're
agree.
guys are just, yeah, they're just getting soft, and they're just getting, because when I was working in a warehouse, I had these younger kids come in work, and they complained after 4 hours they're working too much. They needed more breaks. They needed longer lunches, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? You're just working in a warehouse. It's not like you're digging ditches, on the side of the road.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's the quality. I think people are becoming more selfish. Guys are becoming more selfish. Um,
Do you think that's
and
by design?
yeah, that's true.
I think it is by design too, man. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like to be manly is almost wrong nowadays from, whatever who like when you say they, like, they are trying to do this, whoever they are, but they are trying to take the man and turn it into something different nowadays, man. I that's how I really feel like that. It's to be a man nowadays is almost like it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that at
Well,
all?
yeah. I mean, you hear that word. I mean, for the last 20 years, toxic masculinity.
What the heck?
I
What
mean,
does that even mean? What does that mean?
it's yeah. I think from their point of view, I think it's just men taking charge and being a man. Having the balls to do the shit that they need to do. That's toxic masculinity.
But isn't that
That's
what
just,
isn't that what men were designed to do?
yeah. I mean, we're for 200,000 years, men were designed to build things, to do things, to take charge, to you know to protect. You know, it's like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like men, like my job here at this house is to protect this house, to provide for it, to repair it, to fix it, do those kinds of things. My wife, she takes care of all the cleaning, the organizing of the house, keeping this house a house. It's a home. She makes it a
Yep.
home. I protect this home. That's
She
just kind
keeps
of
it
like
in
our
order.
general. Yeah, she keeps it in order. If it wasn't for her, this place would be a mess. Um,
My house
but
too, man.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's this whole feminist movement that I've heard about. That I see all these podcasts about the first wave, second wave, third wave, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, it's really like emasculated men. It's basically fucking cut their balls off. You know,
Yeah,
and
true.
and I'm just like, God, I understand there's some toxic masculinity out there. There are those. I see these guys on podcasts that are the alpha males, but these alpha males are like beating their chest. They think they're the shit. There's this one guy in particular. I'm not gonna name him, but he used to go. He was in prison for a while, and he came out, and he's all about being alpha male, and he's putting up that tough guy presence, you know. And he's always saying you got to be rich and ripped and just rare and all this other stuff. And he's the definition of what toxic masculinity is. I think, in my opinion, because he's the kind of guy that I think would be violent. And from what I heard, he's actually just got arrested for being violent against his fiance. So
Oh wow.
physically violent, and so it's those kinds of guys. But the funny thing is, it's not even funny. It's sad because this guy has a huge following, and there's a lot of young men that look at this guy and think this is how I'm supposed to be. You got
Yeah.
to be tough. You got to be, you got to tell people to fuck off and just be mouthy and arrogant and just all this other bullshit. And I'm like, no, that's not what being a man is. It's about being responsible. It is about taking charge, but you can be kind about things. You can be generous about things. You can be humble about things. But this guy's not humble at all. He got money and he got fame, and then he thinks he's the king shit, you know, and he thinks
Yeah.
nobody can touch him. And it's like that's that's the kind of guys that, unfortunately, was another guy, Andrew Tate. I mean,
Mm.
there's cool things I like about Andrew Tate,
Yeah,
but
me
there's
too.
some. Yeah, I mean, he's a cool guy. I've watched dozens of interviews with him, and there's a lot of things I agree with, and I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that he makes sense about. But
Mhm.
at the same time, he is about money and fame and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know him personally. I've never met him, but there's a lot of things he does make sense, and I think he does set a good example for a lot of guys. But there's some things that I don't agree with. But it's so I think young guys need better role models to look up to than these guys,
So
these alpha males.
so like you were talking about with Tate, for example, is like he talks about a lot. The stuff I don't agree with is that he says basically like if you have millions and millions of dollars, you have Porsches and Lambos and Ferraris and you have all these mansions, that's when you've made it. And see, I don't like that when he talks like that. I don't agree with that. I don't think you have to have
Yeah,
all those materialistic things to make it. Um, but I do think a lot of other stuff he talks about being a strong man, not necessarily like not strong as in going out and whooping everyone's ass, but being a strong like head of a household. Like you said earlier, you protect.
mentally and emotionally strong.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you protect your home. That I feel
Yeah,
is a man's job. The man is supposed to protect the house. The man is supposed to protect his wife. If the man has kids, he is supposed to protect them. In my opinion, I mean, that's just what a man does. The man provides for the family. The man protects the family. The man, does everything he can to build that family up. Now, you don't necessarily, just because you have a mansion and millions of dollars in a Lambo in your front yard doesn't mean you're a good man. You know what I'm saying? It means you're rich. That's all it means. And to be rich
yeah.
doesn't make you a good man. It doesn't make you. Um, it hasn't made you. That's not the end all tale, man. I know lots of friends, different men that I've met growing up that were dirt broke, dude, and they were probably taught me some of the best stuff, man. Like they were, those were men. I don't know where I'm going with this, man. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but it's like I just don't think that some of the stuff he talks about is what it is to be a man. But then there is some stuff that I totally agree with that he says. He's like kind of goes both ways with that dude.
No, and yeah, that's so there's a few podcasts I listen to, and a lot of them talk about a high value man. You know, you got to be a high value, like Andrew Tate, where you got all the money and the fame and mansions and cars and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I understand that, but I would rather be a high quality man than a high
Yeah,
value man. And I think there's a big difference. I think a high
huge.
is a huge difference, and I think we need to start promoting like high quality men, because a high value man, because I see these things like, well, you like these guys will be talking to these girls like, you think you deserve a high value man, that he makes nine figures a year and he's got all these options, and you think you okay, just because you're a high value doesn't make you a good man, like you were saying. It's
Hmm.
high quality. You need to be a high quality good man. And unfortunately, there's this kind of misconstrued message out there that to be anything, you have to be a high value man. And that's not the case. It's, hey, if you make money and if you got mansions and cars and stuff, that's great. But if you're a piece of shit, you're not going to make anything of yourself. You're going to be ultimately single and alone and unhappy, in my opinion.
I
And
think
you're never,
I think guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I think it's just, you're never going to especially if you have kids, kids are going to look up to that and go, well, it's about the Lamborghinis. It's about the three mansions. That's what I have to strive for. No, that doesn't make the world better. It doesn't make
Yep.
humanity better. It's about personal relationships. It's about, you see an old lady fall down, pick her up, or hold the door open for somebody coming in or coming out. I still do that. I was just,
Hmm.
I'm at truck stops every single day. And
Yep.
when I go into the truck stop, if somebody's behind me, I hold the door open. It could be a girl, a guy, it don't matter. It doesn't
Yep.
matter who you are. That's just my politeness. That's what I was taught to do.
It's manners.
And it's manners. And I always say thank you, to no matter who it is. If they open the door for me, I'm like, hey, thanks, man, thanks, bro, whatever.
Yep.
It, that's where we're missing, and I think that's where the qualities come in. That we need to have higher quality in ourselves, not higher value. Higher value is nice; it's an added bonus. But if you don't, you need the high quality first before you have the value. Because if you have the value, all that money and fame and everything else is going to get to your head, and you're not going to be quality, in my opinion.
Because
And
there's a huge difference
go ahead.
between yeah, no, just there's a huge difference between quality and then just like I kind of lost my train of thought, man. But
Go ahead.
there's like, you know what I mean? There, but no, just being high quality versus high value is like it. You can have all the material things in the world. That doesn't make you a good person. Material things are, who cares? It doesn't, material stuff means nothing. It's about the quality of person that you are, how you carry yourself and how you treat other people. And like, again, you could be material, you could have all the material stuff and people envy you and look up to you. Doesn't mean they're going to respect you. You know what I'm saying? Respect
Yeah.
is something that you have to earn that, and you don't get respect by just having things. You know what I mean? You have to be a good person, good character to earn that respect, man. And I think that with social media and everything like that, I think these kids are having a hard time with that. You know what I mean? Because they see these people online that have all this stuff, and these kids are like, oh my gosh, how do I get this stuff? I need to get all this stuff, this material stuff, but they don't look at being a good quality person, having respect, having people respect you for the person you are, not the things that you have. Like
Yeah.
I see a lot of that right now, man.
And guys need to step up too about being more involved with their kids. I mean, I don't have kids, but I think, I was blessed that I had my dad. But even though he had his disease, I still had Randy's dad. I still had Brian's dad. I had Eric's stepdad. I had my uncles, my grandfathers. I had men that taught me how to be a real man and how to be a good person and how to be a good man.
Yep.
And nowadays, there's I think that kind of quality in guys is dwindling really fast. I think that's why we see the chaos that we see all over the world, the country, the world, whatever. And it's detrimental to society actually, because when all your guys are starting to become pieces of shit, and the society as a whole is going to fall apart as well. And the family, the nuclear people talk about nuclear family, that's disappearing. I don't, nuclear families don't exist anymore. Not that I see much anymore, except for in boomers and in my grandparents' age. But outside of that, I think families nowadays are just so disorganized. They're chaos. It's drama. You got people going from one relationship to another, have three different kids with three different guys, and it's like, It's getting out of hand, and it's we need to figure out a way to start steering that rudder in a different direction. I'm not
I
sure
think it's
how, but
society, bro. Society, man.
yeah,
I think it's designed that way. It's designed to keep, this is just my opinion, and I could be, I don't know, conspiracy theorist, but I think our government and the people that are the elites or whatever you want to call them, who are in charge of all this, I think it's by design, bro. I think it's they make things so expensive, for one, that both parents have to work, so the kids are at home by themselves. They create internet, not, I'm sorry, social media, and the parents, because they are busy and they come home from work, they got to get dinner ready, they got all these other things prepared for the next day, that they're just like, here kid, like they give them a tablet, you know what I'm saying, and the
yeah,
tablet is now, the cell phone, the video games, and these tablets and stuff, these devices are raising these children. And that's how I've seen it, man. Back, you said earlier, in when we were talking, that we didn't have that when we grew up, man. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
our parent, for me anyway, when I was young, my dad worked a lot, dude. Like he was always gone, but my mom was home. My mom, she was always with me. You know what I mean? Always with me. And then my parents got divorced when I was 8. I went to go live with my dad, and my dad was at work all the time. So from the time that I was 8 all the way until the time that I was 12, I basically took care of myself. My dad would be gone for, and I'm not trying to diss him or say anything bad about it. It was his job, and that's how he provided. But he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like I would get up in the morning at 8 years old, man, 9 years old, get up in the morning, go down to the restaurant that was about a half a mile or so from my house. I'd ride my bike, go eat breakfast there, come back home, get all my school stuff ready, and then be on the corner to catch the school bus, go to school, come home, get my homework done, do whatever chores I had to do, whatever. And then I'd ride my bike back to the restaurant and have dinner, and then come home. And then my dad would go pay that bill at the end of the week, when he, like, sometimes he'd be gone for 2 days, 3 days, whatever. But he would go and pay that bill, whatever tab I, accrued it
yeah,
throughout that time. And he would go pay it on Fridays. And so at the time, I guess it wasn't a big deal to me. You know what I mean? Like at the time, when I just, cause that's just what it was, man. That's just what life was for me. But now looking back on it, it's like, dang, dude, I was alone a lot. And, um, we moved all the time too, like literally every year, man. Before high school, so from junior high, uh, let's shoot, 8 years old. What would that be? 8 years, like second grade, third grade. From that all the way until ninth grade, I went to a new school every single year. Literally every year, man. So
wow,
I always had to make new friends every year. Like I'd be there for a year, make friends, and everything was great. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, hey, we're moving again. It's like, damn, okay. Get to a new school, be there for a year, make friends, everything's great, and then, oh, we're moving again.
where we began.
And it's like, what the heck? And it always seemed like we moved right towards the end of summer. So I could never go somewhere for summer and meet friends before school started. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's just how it happened, man. And then, so long story short, man, what I'm trying to get at is, like, with Jordan, when I had my son, like, and again, I'm not trying to say anything bad about my pops, but I just didn't want Jordan to go through that, man. I wanted to be there for him, and I wanted to do life with him. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
the basketball was like kind of our thing, man. He started liking basketball a lot at a young age, and man, we just, literally since kindergarten, man, all the way until he graduates this year. So for 13 straight years, man, that was our thing. Literally year
that's cool.
round, man. Yeah, we did basketball year round. We didn't take any breaks. And so now he's graduating, and him and his girlfriend are getting super serious, and now they're talking about moving and out of state and all this
Oh,
stuff. And it's like, bro, it's hit me, man. Like, I'm just like, my shadow's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, not yet, but he's talking about moving, and I was like,
yeah,
he's been my right hand man, my partner in crime. He's been my shadow, dude, for 13 years. You know what I mean? Well, he's 18, but what I'm saying
yeah,
is, this basketball thing is something we've shared, and it's been an everyday, all year thing. And it's like, literally, man, it kind of got depressing a little bit. I'm just like, crap, what am I gonna do now? You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I hear you. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I like, that like Randy, you know, me and you. and Randy all grew up in that kind of environment, where we
Mhm.
were involved with each other, we're involved with our parents, our dad. My even when my dad was sick, he was still out there playing Hot Wheels with us. You know,
Yeah.
Big Randy was teaching us about carpentry and drywall and stuff like that, and all his cars. My dad's fascination with muscle cars. That's where we gained. And then I was so happy to see that Randy did that with his kids, with Austin and Dylan, and
Yeah.
they're the same way. They
Yep.
learned from him how we were raised. He instilled that in those two, and I'm like, he did it right. And I mean,
Facts.
I'm glad that Austin and Dylan turned out just awesome boys. They're awesome kids. The same with Jordan. They're all from that flock, but it is about having a good heart, having a good center, and you can't do that without good people, like good parents, you, Randy, aunts, uncles, stuff like that. If you don't have those in your life, you got a lot of struggles ahead of you. But because Jordan had you, Randy, Austin had you guys, they
Yeah.
turned out the way they turned out because of the good men in their lives, the good role models that taught them the right from the wrong, how to do things correctly. Don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. Be humble, be kind. And that's a dying thing nowadays.
And like with Austin and Dylan, man, like you brought those two up. My son Jordan has been just blessed with having them as um uncles or cousins or whatever you want to call them. They're super close. And when Jordan was a little kid, man, like we would go over to Randy's. He called him Uncle Randy since he was just a little kid.
Yeah,
It was Uncle Randy. And we would go over there, man, and Austin would hang out with Jordan, dude. You know what I mean? Austin was a teenager. He had all his friends and buddies over there. But when Jordan came around, Austin always went out of his way to make sure Jordan was comfortable. He played video games with Jordan, hung out with Jordan. Austin's friends were all there, kind of like, "What's up, man? Like, let's go do something, man. Let's leave this and that." And Austin was just like, "Man, I'll catch up with you guys later." Blah blah blah. And I'm being for real, man. Like he would stay back and hang out with my son, dude. Like, and make sure Jordan was comfortable because Jordan was the only kid there. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
those, like they didn't have kids at their parties. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't
yeah,
want to have to babysit. And Jordan was, man. We were blessed, bro. Jordan's a very good kid, man. He's super good. So he was always invited. Jen and Randy they always like, hey, if you guys are coming, bring Jordan too. And so that to me meant a lot, man, because they included my son. It wasn't like, oh, hey, you come kick it with us and let's party, but your kid can't.
yeah,
They were always like, bring Jordan. And so it's like, man, like to me that was so major, man, and like meant a lot to me. And that right there, so that's a brother. That's true friendship. That's true. Like just be everyone's included, man. You're all
yeah,
together. It's not saying you're not included. In the way like he raised his boys, the way Randy raised his two boys, was amazing, dude. And those kids, dude, like the way he hung out with Jordan all the time, and then like Jordan just adores Austin, man. Just looks up to him and just, I mean, literally adores Austin. Austin has driven all the way down here, dude, after work to watch Jordan play basketball games, and then turns around the same day and drives back home so he can be at work the next morning. Like that is
he got that.
his
He
dad.
got that from his dad.
That's his dad, bro. That is what his dad did for me. You know what I'm saying? And now
Yep.
he's doing it for Jordan, man. And it's amazing that those kids and Dylan too, man. So Austin and Dylan will come down here twice a year. They come down for my birthday and then they come down for Jordan's birthday. And they've been doing it every single year. It's I mean,
Yep.
it's crazy, dude. Like I sit there and me and my wife, we talk about that all the time, and we're just like, what kids that age do that? Like what kids think about that? Think about how much it means to me and my family that they show up and that they're here. It's exactly what their dad did, bro. Like they are
Yep.
their dad. You know what I
Oh
mean? And
yeah.
to me,
Oh for sure.
and and Austin, like it makes me feel really good, man, because there's times where Austin will call me, man, and like he'll have a problem with something or an issue with something or whatever it may be, man. And I just love that he's comfortable enough and he knows that I'll be there for him. And I've told him that, you know what I mean? When I went to go when I went to go visit Randy when he was in the hospital, he wasn't awake, but I knew he could hear me, and I told him that I got your kids, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't, until the day I die, I got your kids. Like, if
Yeah.
they ever need anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even, all they have to do is ask. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, for the rest of my life, man. And it's been so cool because we've been able to stay in each other's lives like that. And every time we hang out, it's like Randy's there. And that's, to again, we're going back to the brotherhood thing. That to me is what friendship is. That's what a brother is. What me and him had, he raised and taught his kids that, and now his kids reciprocate that to me and my family. it's
Yep.
it's freaking amazing, dude. And like Austin and Dylan both, they just hit me up and they're like, when's Jordan graduating? We're gonna come down for his graduation. That to me right there, bro, that means, like, that's crazy. You graduate one time, your kids graduate, they're gonna fly the nest. They're men now, right? Men,
Yep.
women, whatever. They're adults now. They're gonna do their own thing, and they want to come and celebrate that with Jordan. And to me, like, again, it's like, who at their age, who thinks about that with some old dude? You know what I'm saying? And my son, like, you know what I mean? Though, like,
Yeah.
kids don't, kids aren't like that anymore, man. They don't care about that stuff. They don't see the importance of friendships. They don't see the importance of being there. They don't see the importance of showing up, like, being accountable. Like, no, I don't think accountable is the right word. It's just, even though I can always count on them, like, it's crazy. I know that they're both going to be here twice a year, and I always look
Yeah.
forward to it. It's crazy because they're so much younger than I am, but it's like I look forward to it. I'm like, oh, Austin and Dylan are going to come for the weekend, or, you know what I mean? And we just hang out, bro. We go shoot guns. We go to the beach and have bonfires, hang out and play spades. Like, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. And Jordan's always, he's right there with us, you know. It's just cool, man. And to me, that's a brotherhood. And what that brotherhood does is it goes down generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Jordan knows that Austin and Dylan will be there for him for the rest of his life. And that, to me, that's where the friendship comes in. That's a real friendship. That is brotherhood right there. That's not just an acquaintance, or, oh, like, yeah, that's my buddy. No, man, that's my brother. Like, and to me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Accountability, man, and showing up, and proving that you are a friend, not just saying you're a friend. You prove it.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree with you more. And yeah, I would do the same thing for those kids too. I mean, I seen
Hey, they know that
those
we
kids
talk
playing
about you all the
soccer.
time, bro. We
Oh,
talk
really?
about you when they're here.
Oh,
Oh, hell yeah, we do. 100%. And
shit.
they know that. They know that you would always be there for them. Trust me when I tell you that. They know that.
Yeah, that's another thing. The one thing I hate being down here is I'm 2,000 miles away from those kids and seeing what they're going through, and But if they are in trouble, I'll drop everything and go help them.
Yes,
Those are
sir.
my nephews. I've always called them my nephews. They're family. Randy's family. So I get exactly what you're saying. Is that and they're going to turn out to be amazing older men. As they get older, they're going to be when they have kids. Hopefully, they have kids. We'll see. But they're going to instill that same um, frame of mind that Randy did.
Well,
They're gonna teach their kids the same thing that Randy taught Austin and Dylan.
Austin, dude, what's crazy, man, which is amazing. Austin's doing that same thing right now with Lucy, bro.
Yeah, I don't know much about what's going on. I know when I came up there, this was a couple of years ago. I came up there and I dropped off Randy's because I for my wedding I asked to borrow one of Randy's watches, and Jen graciously let me borrow one of his watches so I could wear to my ceremony.
That's
And
awesome.
Ben was supposed to bring it back, but I completely forgot about it. So I was like, well, when I come up there, I'll bring it. So I went swung by Randy's place and dropped it off. But dude, so just as I got there, Austin was there, and he had Lucy, I guess, and his girlfriend or whatever. And I'm like, I didn't know much about it, but and then I'm like, wow, okay, that's awesome. He's actually stepping in and
He's
taking
playing daddy,
control.
bro.
He is, yeah. I don't know
And
the
he's
whole backstory. Randy and Debbie told me a little bit about it, but I don't know much about it. But I was just like, I was surprised. I was like, kind of came out of left field because I didn't know who he was dating, and then all of a sudden he's dating his girlfriend, and
Monique.
then Monique, and then Lucy. And I'm like, wow, this is a development. And I was like, that. Oh, okay, that's awesome. You know.
And dude, he's like, he is so good with Lucy. He treats her like his own, man. He is so good to her.
Oh, I
He's
bet.
like,
I bet.
oh man, he's just watching him
Well,
interact with her, man.
that again, that just shows Randy, because Randy took
Yeah,
in Cody.
I
He
know,
took Cody
bro.
in, and Cody's his own kid.
Yep.
And Austin's following right in his footsteps. Lucy's not his blood related kid, but he sure as hell is going to treat her like one.
And
So
he really does, man. It's impressive, bro. It's very it's refreshing to watch, man. It's like, dude, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he is so good to that little girl, and she loves him, bro. Like
yeah,
she absolutely loves him, and it's really cool to see that because yeah, Randy instilled that in him. Like Dylan and Austin are they are their dad, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's so cool to see that they were raised the right way. They're turning out to be great young men, and they are going to be, as they get older, they're just going to continue to be great, do great things and become better and better and better each year, man. They're
yeah.
just yeah, man. I'm very, very impressed, man. Very proud of those kids. Like they're doing great things, man. It's awesome.
Me too. I'm proud of what they've become and what they're doing, and I'm just like, this is what you hope for, the younger generations. And I'm like, Randy did it right, and those kids are going to be amazing adults, and they're going to do amazing things. Especially when
Yep.
they have more families, and hopefully Dylan gets, he has kids, and they grow their families. And yeah, that's just, I don't see that anymore. I don't see kids Austin and Jordan's age that are like that anymore. I hear all the horror stories.
I
I'm
know,
just
bro.
like, I just I
Yep.
got, and that's where I'm like, we need to figure out. I don't know. We can't save society, but it's like, man, we got to start trying to help as many as we can. Try to help give these younger guys a better direction. Try to help out what
Yep.
we can, and just try to do what we can to try to make the world a better place. That's just kind of where I'm at. Um,
Just trying to be good role models for the younger generation, man, is what it is.
yeah, and
Being
if we don't,
positive role models.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that you hit the nail on the head on that one. Yeah, I don't see a lot of good things in the future
I
for
know.
our country. Our young men. Um, yeah, and I see it every day, because being a truck driver, I get to listen to all the podcasts while I'm driving, and I hear all
Yep.
these guys, and I hear, and even the complaints from the women. The women are like, they can't find any good men. I'm like, well, I kind of understand that point of view, because it's like the quality of men these days are just, they're shit.
Yep.
We don't have, we
Yep.
need more Austins and Dylans and Jordans in the world. We don't need
It's it all
we
starts at
don't
home
need
though,
the.
man.
Yeah, that's true. It
And
does.
I think that's the big problem, man. It's like we kind of talked about earlier. Is I think it's done like that on purpose. I think society is they're doing it on purpose, man. It's they want they want just mindless robots. You know what I'm saying? People that won't think for themselves, people that won't ask questions. I don't know, man. Like I think this might sound super like out there, but I think it's by design. I think they're trying to destroy like a good home life. They're trying to destroy manners. They're trying to destroy responsibility. They're trying to destroy independent men. Like, that like the whole thing right now is all about independent women, independent women, independent women. Like that's great. Like that's awesome. You should be independent. You shouldn't have to depend on somebody else. But like, I think they're trying to make men more. This is gonna sound bad, but like weak. They're trying to make men more dependent. Does that make? I don't know if I'm making any sense here, man. But it's
No, you
like
are.
that's just what I'm seeing, and it's sad, dude. It's sad. It's men can't be men anymore. And I think it's by design.
And you might be right. I mean, I think um, kind of the conspiracy thing. I was I forget who I was talking to the other day, but if the people at the top, because I kind of think of it as like a pyramid. You got
Yeah.
all the powerful people, the rich people are at the top of the pyramid. You got all the other people down at the bottom of the pyramid holding the whole pyramid up. Now, if you have man versus woman, man fighting woman, white versus black, right versus left. If you keep those groups fighting amongst each other, people at the top have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so much drama in social media and on the news and left versus right, toxic masculinity, femininity, feminist movements, black versus white, all the racism and stuff. The more we're fighting amongst each other, the more they can create that animosity, the hate, the fear. The more that they stay in power and stay where they're at. And yeah, it's
They,
like you said, it's creating weaker men because strong men won't tolerate that shit.
nope.
Strong men have a backbone. Strong men will say, you know, no when somebody tries to tell them to do something they're not supposed to do. You know, um, so yeah, you create a society of weak men, you're going to get what we're getting. And
Yep.
unfortunately, it's I don't know how to get rid of the people at the top. That's just I don't I think it's just too big. But if we can make small nudges in the right direction, I think we can at least try to help what we can and who we can. You know.
That's and you I think you hit it on the head right there. It's we have to do what we can do with our village, with the people around us, our close friends, as long as it's, if we can do it, if we can do that with them and then they do that with their it's and then it'll just like the people at the top right now are trying to keep everybody in chaos. But if we can keep that up, then Austin will teach that to his kids. Dylan will teach that to his kids. Jordan will teach it to his kids. And then hopefully there'll be a small group of us that are sane. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know. It starts at home, in my opinion, and you know, creating strong men, creating good, like a person that's a good friend to somebody starts at home, man. You got to teach your kids how to act. You got to teach your kids responsibility. You got to teach them respect, manners. Um, if you say something, do it. Don't be that person that's like, oh, I got you on this or whatever, and then they never hear from you again or whatever. Like if you're gonna do something, do it, man. Say something. Um, I don't know. I think accountability has kind of gone out the window with this generation too. These younger guys, there's no accountability. They're, in my opinion, they're kind of lazy. Um, they get away with anything and everything. There's no discipline. And these are all, bro. These are all things that start at home, man.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, especially like the discipline. Yeah. I was fearful of my dad growing up. All my mom had to do was say, "Wait till your dad gets home," and that was it. You know.
Oh, and you're scared.
You're scared. I was scared. I was like, okay, no. um, and
But
I
to
go
go
ahead.
on that though, but like when we say we were scared, it's not like our dad came home and beat us. It's not like it
No,
was child abuse. It was nothing like that, man. It was respect. We respected our fathers. We respected what they said. What they said, we did. Like that was just what it was. But now you got like, I mean, dude, I have friends. This is no joke, dude. They're kids. Like we're talking young age, man. We're talking like junior high. Cuss their parents out straight up, cuss them out, tell them I'm not doing that. Hell no. It like I don't. It's just like what you let your kids talk to you that way? You let them treat you like that? It's crazy. I disrespected my dad one time, man. One time. My dad never beat me. He never did. But he only spanked me maybe a handful of times in my entire life, right? Like maybe a handful of times. But I disrespected him once, and it was pretty bad, and he chokeslammed me just like the Undertaker, just like WWE wrestling, bro. And it was in the grass, and it was in front of my friends because I thought I was big shit, and I was trying to, act I was being stupid in front of my friends, man, and he let me know real quick that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? And again, my dad didn't beat me. My dad did not, physically abuse me or anything. But it was that one. He was just like, hey, let's reel this back in. You're a kid. I'm the dad. You know what I mean? And there's boundaries,
Yeah,
bro, and you're not crossing that boundary, man. You are not going to disrespect me. You're not going to do it. And so I learned from that, literally that moment. I think I was, man, 13, something like that. From I never did again, never, and it was, and and for one, I knew it was wrong. Later on, I was, my friends had all, they all had to go home. I got in trouble, and I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I'm just like, damn, I fucked up. Like, that was my bad. Like, I should have never done that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how you treat your dad. That's not what you
yeah,
do. And yeah, man, it broke my heart. So I went to him and apologized. And then it broke my dad's heart that he had to do that to me. You know what I mean? So then he told me sorry, but it was like, it's going to happen again. If you do that again, the same thing's going to happen. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And so, I think we've all gone through it as parents. I've gone through it with Jordan. He tried to buck up to me, and it was like, you know, I didn't beat him, but I let him know that that's not going to happen, man. Like, you're not going to disrespect me. It's just
yeah.
it's not how it works, bro.
No, it's all about that respect. And I had kind of a similar moment too, about the same age. I think I was 12, 13.
That's
And
when we
my dad
rebel,
came
man.
out. That's what it's about the right time. Yeah. We were at my house. We were out backyard. My dad told me to do something. I'm like, I mouthed off to him or something. And as he was walking away, I just fucking flipped him off. He, he didn't know what, he didn't see me. I thought I was being sly. I was like, fuck you, for telling me to do
Yep.
this or do that. And all of a sudden I look up, my mom's looking at me. And I'm like, when
Damn.
my heart sank, I got really scared because I'm like, oh, they saw me do that. And yeah, and my dad never beat me. My parents never beat me. I got the belt across the butt a few times because I mouthed
Yep.
off or did something. That
Yep.
was not abuse. I mean, people nowadays are like, that's
No.
abuse, that's child abuse. I'm like, no, it's not. It taught me respect. It taught me you
Yes,
consequences to your actions. You're going to do something, you're going to get an ass beaten. But there's a
bro.
difference between abuse and discipline.
It's exactly what it is. There's consequences for your actions. That's
Yeah,
you hit it on the head. It's not abuse, man. You're not sitting there
no,
beating your child just to beat them. No, you're teaching them that later in life, when you're not there to help them, that you do something to somebody, there's going to be a consequence. You mouth off to a boss, you could get fired. You mouth off to an officer, probably going to get arrested. You mouth off to the wrong dude on the street, might get your face broke. Like, there's
yeah,
consequences, man. And like, that's what you're teaching your kids, dude. I don't see a problem at all with a spanking or whatnot. Now, I'm not saying, again, it's a very fine line. I'm not saying abuse is good. There's no, I think that is really
yeah,
wrong. You don't abuse your child. But
no, not at all.
if you spank them, or you have to, like, I'm not saying get physical and, punch them in the face over and over or something like that. But if you have to get a little physical and let them know that, dude, there's a pecking order. You're my son. You are not going to treat me like that. There's a consequence for your actions, because in real life, life doesn't give a damn about you. They're not your dad. Life is not your parent. Life will kick you. And when you're down on the ground, they will continue to stomp on you. That's just what life will do. And you have to know you're not going to go through life, man, with just doing, you think that, you can do anything you want to anybody you want. That's not how it works, man. I
Well,
think we need to teach our,
that's what's happening today. I think because
yeah,
those kids are not getting disciplined, they're not having that respect. They're not knowing that for whatever they do, there's going to be consequences, and that's why they're running around bloody murder. They're doing whatever they want, and then they're crying about the consequences. You
yeah,
know, they,
yep.
you mouth off to your boss, you tell them, no, I'm not going to do that. You get fired, and then they cry. It's like, well, why'd you fire me? Well,
Because
because you just
I'm gonna
mouthed
find
off.
somebody that will do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not going to do it, then go hit the street. I'll find somebody that will, and I'll appreciate it.
Bye.
So yeah, I mean, it's like my boss. My boss is younger than me, you know, and he'll tell me to do something, I'll do it. You know, it's my job. I don't want to lose
Yep.
my job. You know, he's a lot younger than me. He's like 20 years younger than me, but he's the boss. You know, and I gotta respect his position as my
Yep.
boss. And
Yep.
even though I might not like this, I might not like that. Hey, you know what? That's how you that's how you learn things in life. You know, if you're not learning, if kids are not being taught all this stuff at a younger age, they're sure as hell not going to learn it when they get older. Because
Yeah.
they get older, they got already that mindset like it's the whole entitlement. You know, there's so many fucking
Oh,
entitled kids out there. It's not even funny. It's like,
it's like what are you entitled to? What have you done? Like what? How you think that
yeah,
you just deserve this stuff and it should be given to you because you want it? The hell are you
yeah,
talking about? What have you done to earn it? What have you done to gain it? Like what have you like hard work? You know what I mean? Like you think that you're just gonna go get a job? Like that's a lot of these kids today. Oh my god, it drives me crazy, man. And I try to tell them like you go to apply for a job, right? There's going to be 6, 7, 8, maybe 30, 40 other people that apply for that job. What makes you think you're going to get it? What makes you stand out? You're not going to get it just because you want it. You know, like you
yeah,
have to do things to put yourself in a position that people want to hire you to, that you have something to offer. Because if I'm a business owner and I got 6 or 7 people applying for the same job, for me personally, I'm hiring the most qualified because that person's going to help my business out. Not just
yeah.
because you whine and cry and you think you deserve it. Hell no, man. Hell no. I'm going to hire whoever that's going to give me the best opportunity to make my business thrive. That's who I'm hiring,
And even if they
regardless
get
of.
the job, they don't appreciate it.
Yes. Yes.
They think
100%.
they're entitled to it. Then even when they do get it, they don't appreciate that they actually got the job, and then they throw it away.
Yep. And they don't appreciate things, man.
No, I think that's
Yep.
one of the biggest things is kids nowadays just don't have that respect at
Hey,
all.
babe, you want to be on this? You want to be on the podcast, babe? She tried to walk by all like quiet. She's like, I got to mess with her. You want to come say hi?
But yeah, no, I kids just don't have that respect anymore. I think we're failing in some
Yeah.
regard.
Society,
Um,
man.
yeah, and it's like I don't know. I want to try to help people. I think that's why I'm starting this thing and doing other things and other projects. It's like, you know, I really want to try to start helping people, and that's what I was like. And I think swinging back to the original conversation is that I think men need to have other guys as friends. I think it's essential to us being able to find our own path and knowing that even if we fall, we got those guys that got our backs, you know, and
You got you got people you
they're
can
not
depend on, man.
gonna, yeah, they're not going to judge us. They're not going to make fun of you. They're not going to, you know, do all the things that people do these days. So we got to, and I think if guys have those connections with other guys, it's going to help them be better people, to be a better worker, be a better husband, be a better father, you know, because they have those connections, you know, because if
Yep.
it wasn't for those guys that I grew up with, I wouldn't be where I'm at. You know, I would probably be in jail or dead or some other place.
If it wasn't for Randy, so would I, man. I'm not even kidding,
Yeah,
dude. Randy, he talked me out of so much stupid shit. He taught me to be better, bro. He like that's what real friends do, man. They see you fucking up and they're not afraid to, check you, literally check you and be like, bro, what the hell's wrong with you? You're better than that. You're a better human being than that. What are you doing?
yeah,
Think of all the people you're going to hurt if you get caught. Think of all the people that you're going to hurt with the actions that you're trying to do. And I think, like we kind of said it earlier, is I think a lot of friends nowadays or people want to be yes men. They don't want to be that person to, I think maybe, I don't know if they're afraid of confrontation or if they're afraid of doing the right thing, but they don't want us to speak up and be like, yo, that's not a good idea, man. Like, I don't think you should be doing that. Like, think about the consequences. It's like today, it seems more like the younger generation's like, let's go do it. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Instead of thinking about, man, there could be a really bad consequence. And I'm not just hurting me, my family. I could be hurting my family. And I think like good friends will talk you out of that kind of stuff and make you see a bigger picture. and realizing that you're not just going to mess yourself up, you got other people in your life that's going to get messed up from this. And Randy was that guy, man. Like, so many times talked me out of just dumb stuff, bro. Like, just just not being me, just not being who I should be, not being the person that I am. I was trying to be this other person, hanging out with people I shouldn't have been hanging out with. And Randy was just like, you know what I mean? He's just like, no, man, that
Yeah,
don't.
well, like for you, he was doing that, but he was doing the opposite for me. He was trying to push for me to find like a good one because I was before I met Nikki, I was single for over 10 years. I was like I was just in a bad spot, and I was like, I don't need girlfriend, I don't need that kind of shit. I'm happy on my own. I'll live my life that way, and that's it. And Randy, for the longest time, kept pushing me. You need to find a good woman. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to. They'll make you a better person. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, I don't need all that. I always discounted it. I always just kind of brushed it off. And sure enough, when after my dad died, he was right, and I was like, you know what, he really is right, and he never I guess gave up on that idea. He always wanted that for me because and maybe he saw it. I didn't see it in myself, but I think he saw kind of not to get too much into it, but yeah, I was in pain, with my dad. Um, Not to get off subject too much, but growing up, my dad got Parkinson's when I was 11. I became a very pissed off, angry kid. That
Mm-hmm.
led into me being a teenager. That led into me being a young adult. I made decisions in my life based on being angry at the world and at life because my dad was sick. And I tried my best to hide it. I thought I was doing pretty good at it. But I think Randy did see it. And at his parties, and every time he brought me over to family barbecues, every time I saw Big Randy and Debbie and all them, I think they all saw it. I think they all saw that I had kind of this hurt, this anger, but I was trying to keep it in. But they saw it, and then Randy saw that. I think he knew that I needed somebody positive in my life, somebody good, and um, finding a good woman would help that. And he was right. It's after my dad passed, my focus changed, my perception of things changed, and for the first time, I was like, you know what, I think I do need a good woman. And then I met Nikki, and my life completely changed. And I kept telling him, before he got sick, I was like, man, you're right. Yeah, I did need somebody, and he was happy for me. I was like, he was right this whole time. He saw me in kind of a bad place, and he knew that having somebody loving and caring and good and trusting would actually help me become a better person, become a better man. And
Yep.
he never gave up that idea on me. He never stopped believing that I deserved that. In a sense, yeah, he knew I deserved that, and and I was like, you know what? That's why we were trying to. I didn't want to rush the marriage, the wedding, but I was like, because in 2020, I was like, okay, I told Rainey, I'm like, you're coming to my wedding, dude, because you're the reason kind of why I'm in a relationship in a sense, because you never gave up on me. You never stopped believing that I deserve that. And
Yep.
so when I found Nikki and we were dating, and I'm like, all right, well, you're gonna. Then he got sick. I got that call from his dad, and I was like, oh shit. And then I thought he was gonna be okay, but I was like, you
So
know
did
what?
I, bro. So did
And I
I,
was like, you
man.
know what? We're getting married. That's one of the reasons why I proposed to Nikki. I was like, you know what? Time is short. Life is precious. I definitely want to do this. And I told Rainey, I said, you're going to be in my wedding, man. You're going to come down here to Texas. You're going to see us get married on the beach. And he was all for it. And, unfortunately that didn't happen. But no, he like you, he was the friend that never gave up on me. He was a friend that believed that I deserved that. Even though I
Yep.
didn't think I deserved it myself, I didn't think I was worth it, but he saw that. And same with the other guys, Eric and Ben and Brian and all them. They see that stuff in you when you don't see that stuff in yourself, you know. And
100%.
that is why I think it is vital for guys to have those kind of male friends. Because when you're at your darkest, when you're at your worst and lowest point, they're going to see stuff in you that you don't see in yourself.
Yep.
And they're the ones that won't give up on you. They're the ones that are going to stand by your side no matter what. They're not going to judge you. And that's where I think, yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for them, I'd be in a much different place and probably a worse place, if not dead. Because
Yeah.
when everybody else didn't believe in me, when everybody else gave up on me, when I had my parents divorced, when my mom took my sister and left, I didn't see them for a long time. I felt abandoned by them. My dad was sick. I didn't have my dad. I had uncles and aunts and all them, but it just wasn't the same as having my best friends, my brothers, out there side by side with me, pushing me to go do this, pushing me to go do that, never giving up on me. And that's what kept me on this side of the cliff. And
Yep.
it's important to not only have those kinds of guys, but you have to be that kind of guy also. You know,
Yes.
you have to be just as much into it because I would do anything for those guys. I would take a bullet for those guys. They needed a kidney, they needed a liver, whatever. I'll do whatever I have to make sure
Yep.
these guys are going to be taken care of.
Yep.
So it's good to have those guys, but you also got to step up and be that man for them too.
Yeah, and it's that story like that's amazing. I love hearing that, man. About you and Nikki and how Randy was an influence on that. And because to be 100% honest, man, it's crazy, but Randy was the same thing for me and Christine, dude. Me and Christine we've been dating off and on, like it was crazy, dude, ever since we were 17, 18 years old. Um,
Um,
and yeah, bro, and I will admit it. It was my fault. I was selfish. I was a jackass when I was younger, man. And we would break up, and then we get back together and break up and get back together. And Randy was always like, "Dude, what is wrong with you, man?" He's like, "You need to marry her. Like, she's the best thing that's ever happened to you. She's the best thing that will ever happen to you." And I was just, you know what I mean? Though, and I was just like, he saw that.
yeah,
He saw how good she
yeah,
was to me and how good she was for me. She made me a better person,
yeah,
and he saw that, man. And that's what true friends want. True friends want the best for you. And so Randy was always just
hmm
like, wake up, man. What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? He would say that to me. He's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm just like, whatever, man. And then me and Christine got back together one of the times, and then we ended up having Jordan, right? And we weren't married. And Randy's like, you need to marry her. And then like there's two things. He was just like, one, he was like, don't you think your son wants you to be married? He's like, don't you think your son wants to have a mom and a dad? You are his mom and dad, but don't you think he wants you guys married, not just boyfriend girlfriend? Like, it's a family thing. It means more when you're married.
yeah,
It means more, especially for the child, right? And so I'm
yeah,
like, I really that I took that to heart, man. And I was just like, wow, you're not wrong. And then he's like, it's different when you're married, man. He's like, when you are just a boyfriend and a girlfriend, there's not much of a commitment there. You can leave whenever you want, you can do whatever you want. There's not a commitment. But he's like, when you turn into husband and wife, there's a commitment there that you are going to be the best version of yourself for that person. And he told me that, bro. And I was like, dude, it like somebody just punched me straight in the face. It was just like, oh wow, like
yeah,
wow. And so it made me really start thinking in a different way, man. And I was like, this dude really does, like, he flat out cares about me. He cares about my well-being. He cares about me as a person. He wants me to be better. And he sees that one of the things that will make me better is right there, right in front of me. But I won't, for whatever reason, didn't make that, initiate the jump on that. And
yeah.
so crazy story, bro. This is 100% true. Crazy as hell. We used to go to Vegas with them every year. It was like a tradition. That was our one vacation that we would go on. Me and Christine, and we'd go with Randy and Jen and everybody that they and Holly and Zeke and all those people. Whoever they invited. And this one time in particular, they kept giving me a hard time about, dude, are you gonna marry her? Why don't you just marry her here in Vegas? Like, get it over with, man. Just do it. You know, you're never gonna plan it. You're never gonna do it. Just do it. And I'm like, whatever. You know, like, I don't know, man. I just kept putting it. You know what I mean? Just it was just like whatever, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then this one night in Vegas, man, it was like our second night there. We're driving down the strip. I can't remember where we're heading. We drive by the chapel where Michael Jordan got married in Vegas. And me and Randy, Michael Jordan was our
Yeah.
favorite player. Like we shared that passion for basketball and Michael Jordan. This dude, Randy, no joke, bro. We're driving by it. He's like, Jen, give me the phone. He calls the freaking church, bro, the chapel, and he's on the phone with them. And he's like, hey, I got a couple that wants to get married. When's your soonest availability? And the guy's on the phone. And then I could hear the dude talking on the phone. He was like, well, how does tomorrow at 4 p.m. sound? We can get you guys in at like 4. And Randy's like, no problem. He's like, here's the groom. He's going to set it up. Bro, he handed the phone back to me. And I'm like, Christine's sitting right next to me in the car, right? And I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, you got me, man. That was a good one, bro. And so, seriously, man, we literally got married the next day at 4 p.m. and Randy set it up. Like it's so crazy, bro. So to hear the story about you and Nikki and how he made you feel and made you think about that situation, bro. And like, it's so crazy that we share that kind of a friend in Randy. Like, he was that friend for both of us, bro. And it's amazing, man. Like, he was that important to I mean, not just me and you. He's been that important to so many people. But my point
Yeah,
is like, me and you, we're on this podcast right now talking to each other, and that dude was that guy for both of us. And that
yeah,
just proves and shows how important friendships are, brotherhoods, people that really truly care about you and your best interest and wants the best for you. He was that
yeah.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that.
crazy, bro. We got married.
And I can see Randy doing that too.
Hmm.
I can just picture what you just said. I'm like, yeah, that's Randy.
That's
That's
exactly how it
definitely
played
him.
out, bro.
Yeah.
That's
He
exactly
does
how it happened.
he did that crazy stuff, but I love him to death for it. I mean,
Yep,
he was truly one of a kind, and it sucked that he wasn't around longer, but he's the kind of person that I try to inspire to be more like.
bro.
Um,
Yes, me too.
just the things he did and the things that he did for other people. I'm like, you know what? He is a true inspiration, and he is the kind of even though I called him my little brother, I look up to him. I was like, man, I wish I could have half the happiness that he did. You know,
Hmm.
just I mean, I was like, man, and maybe I was a little jealous too. I'm like, I wish I could be like that. I wish I could be. I can do half the things that he could do, and um how happy. I mean, obviously I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but he was a happy guy. You know, there's a few things that I know he struggled about, but for the most part, he was high on life. He eventually got the kind of life that he wanted after
Yeah.
his divorce from Andy. He
Yep.
was kind of in a bad spot.
That's when
I
I met
remember
him. He was going through that. They were having their hard time right when I met him.
oh, was that okay? So yeah, so and the funny thing is that up in I think so after just after high school, me and Randy kind of lost touch. Um, and we didn't talk. We weren't in contact with each other for probably a good 8 years, something like that. And I did, and it was weird because out of the blue on an email, I get an email from classmates.com. I'm like, who the hell is this? They're trying to contact me, and it was Randy. It was Randy. I was like, shit, where the hell's he been? So I contacted him, and the next day we gave each other a call. And it's like it's like no time had passed. Even
Yep.
though 8 years had passed, it felt like I just talked to him the week previous. I did keep in contact with his parents. I'd stop by every once in a while, And then I found out that Austin's birthday is the same day as mine. So I was like, oh, that's super cool. That's like fate almost. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I'm not sure. I forget where I was going with this, but no, I wish I could be. He was the inspiration for me trying to be better. He's an amazing guy. He was an amazing guy. Um, you know, and I try to be better.
Yeah.
If I come into a situation, I'm like, you know what? I could hear Randy's voice in the back of my head saying, "Do this or do that," and it's like, yeah, that's what he would do. Or I still hear his laugh. I still hear his sarcasm. I
Yeah.
still, all that stuff. It's like it's still part of who I am. And that's what friendship is. That's to me. Even though he's gone, he's still part of me. He always will be.
And see, like what you just said, like that's one thing that friendship is, man. Like what just how you put it right there was we try to be like him. We want to be like him because he was a great friend. He was a great person just in life in general. And like something that I found truly amazing, bro, was at his celebration of life, hearing all the different stories from people about the things he did behind the scenes that I never knew about. About a little kid
I
that got
didn't either.
a little kid that got a bike stolen and he heard about it. He went to the store, bought a bike, and dropped it off for the kid. Stuff like I was just like stuff like that,
Yeah,
dude.
that blew me away. I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" It's no surprise, but yeah. And the one thing I loved about him too is that he didn't need recognition. He didn't need to
No,
know. He didn't need
he
to
didn't
be.
want it.
He didn't need to be thanked. Yeah, he wanted to be anonymous. He didn't need to know all that stuff. He's just like that's just because he's a good person. And I know we talked about this earlier about a week ago. You know, if if we didn't have the mutual friend Randy, me and you probably never would have talked. I think
Yeah,
we're two different types of people, and
we did talk
we're
about
two
that.
different kinds of people. Yeah, we did. It's like if but it comes back around that Randy is such a good judge of character.
Yeah,
And that's how we were raised too. We were raised the same way. It's like we kind of recognize the goodness in people, and
yep,
that's who we kind of bring into our family and in our inner circle. And so like I told you a week ago, I was like, when I first met you, I was like, yeah, he seems like a cool dude, but I'm never going to be friends with him. I'm never going to hang out with this dude. We're just two different kind of people. We
yeah,
hang out with different crowds, we're listening to different music. We're just, it's kind of
yep,
like, it's just not going to, dude's cool, but yeah, I just, when we see each other at the party, it's like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? And that was pretty
yep,
much the extent of our interaction. But
yep,
the thing is that Randy knows, he sees the goodness in people and he
yeah,
recognizes that. And so knowing that about Randy, he knew how to pick his friends. He knew
yes,
how to, make sure that the friends that he picked were going to not only have his back, that he would have their back as well. And he would bring
yes,
into his family. He would bring around his kids, you know, and I think, you know, because of that, I think me and you were talking. I think of you as a good
yeah,
friend now. You're a brother to
me too.
me. Um,
Same thing.
because it's even though we're different in some ways, we still have that core value that Randy saw in both of us, and
Yeah,
that's what brought us together. That's what brought all of us together, and that's something that lacks in people these days. I think it's just you don't. I don't know where I'm going with it, but I'm rambling. but no, it's Randy saw that, and I'm glad he saw it because of that, I got to extend my circle of friends because if it
yeah,
wasn't for Randy, I wouldn't, me and you wouldn't be friends. But
yep,
also, and it comes back to the friendship thing. Back, I had my core friends. I had the four guys: Randy, Eric, Brian, Ben. I didn't need any more friends. So most of my life, I never, opened my horizons or I was never open to new friendships. because I had those guys there, I didn't need anybody else. I didn't want anybody close to me. I didn't want anybody to see me vulnerable if I was going to be that person. Um, so I never expanded my horizon to anybody. And as I gotten older, you know, Randy taught me a good thing too is that you got to keep an open mind to other people. You know, just because they listen to different music, they're into different interests or sports or whatever, it doesn't mean you're not going to click with them. And as I got older, I
Yep.
actually started understanding that better.
True.
And because of that, I finally started to open up. And I remember back in 2015, I bought my diesel pickup, my big lift diesel pickup, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to be. I think I want to get to know it because I grew up around muscle cars. I liked the whole club idea, car clubs, truck clubs,
Yeah.
that camaraderie. That's just what I grew up with. And so I always wanted to be kind of part of that. So I was like, you know what? I got a diesel pickup. I'm gonna see if there's any groups on Facebook that they're like diesel groups. So I joined a bunch of groups, and because of that, I've got a whole new circle of friends. Good friends, and because we shared similar interests. And there are some assholes out there, some idiots, and some overinflated egos. But
Those are in
there was a
every.
handful. Yeah, those are in
That's
every
in
group.
every. That's in every group, bro. There's always those jackasses, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, because I was open to the idea that hey, you know what? I just I love these four guys that I have, but you know what? I think if I were to expand my horizon, open up to other people, that'll make me a better person, and it has. The diesel truck guys, I got Josh, Brandon, Brian. I've got all these other guys that I met because of the whole connection with diesel trucks and the love for that. And then, when my dad died, well, the day that my dad died, I was over there all day, and I left about 9:30. My sister showed up, and she was going to stay the night there. I got home, but actually I went over to my buddy Josh's house, and I'm sitting there, and this is the weirdest thing. I don't know why people remember this. Maybe it's just me, but I remember my phone ringing, and it was 11:39. It was my aunt, and I'm like, this can't be good. So I picked up the phone, and my aunt said that my dad had passed, and I was just like,
Oh yeah.
that was just. And my buddy Josh, he was there. He didn't say anything. He just came up and gave me a big bro hug. It was just like, that that's a good friend. That's the kind of guy that you want when you go through. And I trusted this guy. I relied on this guy. I trusted this guy. I just had the most devastating news happen to me. He was there for me. You know,
Yep.
not a lot of guys are going to do that. I'm not going to say who, but I had a friend. I have a friend, whatever. That I went through a breakup with one of my ex girlfriends back when I was in my early 20s, and it was devastating. She cheated on me, and I was heartbroken. And my buddy at the time, he was like, you know what, you'll get over it, and then he just walked away. That was it. You know, at the time, that was kind of like my biggest heartbreak. It was my girlfriend cheating on me, and that guy just I lost a lot of I don't want to say respect. I still love the guy, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to come to you for those kinds of things. you know, because you just and there are good guys out there that try to do the right thing, but they just don't know how to. And it's not their fault. It's just the way
Right.
they're wired, the way they're geared. But no, I'm just sorry, I'm rambling. But
Oh, you good?
no, it's those are the kinds of guys we need out there. The guys that are going to be there for you at the darkest times, at when you're at your worst. When you when you feel the loss of your dad. My buddy Josh was there right there. That was it. No explanations needed. And at my dad's memorial service, Eric, Randy, Brian, Ben, they all showed up. You know, those are the guys that grew up with my dad. Those were kind of his sons too, but they're my brothers as well. and Big
Yeah.
Randy showed up too. And I'm just like, it's and like I said, I've said this before 100 times, but I am so blessed that I had those guys in my life at the time, you know, especially losing my dad. I was a wreck after I lost my dad. And, like I said, those guys were kind of like the anchor to my reality, to keep me on this side of the cliff from going off, you know. And I can't say it enough. Those friendships are essential to a guy these days.
Oh, it is, man. And to kind of go off of what you're just saying there, so like when we got here, Randy, when we moved down here and stuff, Randy was always hitting me up, and he was like genuinely concerned about the type of people that were here and who I was hanging out with, and I'm not even kidding you, man, and who I was hanging out with, who my friends were here, who I was associating with. He was just like, so what's it like down there, man? Like he was worried. Maybe I was gonna hang out with the wrong crowd, like back, in Spanaway and all that kind of stuff. Because at least when I was there, I had Randy to keep me on the straight and narrow. You know what I'm saying? And so when he came down here that for my first birthday, after we had moved, I told him, I was like, yeah, I have a couple of friends that I've met here that'll be at the house too. And he's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna see who these people are like and see if they're good enough. You know what I mean? That was what he said. And I was like, cool, man. Yeah, and so this one guy, Jesse, like I talking about like what you said earlier about, if we didn't know Randy, like we would have never hung out. We're just not the same at that time. We weren't this, you know what I mean? We wouldn't have been friends kind of thing, like how you said.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
fit in down here, bro. Like this is country. I'm not, I don't know, man. I stick out like a sore thumb, but I can get along with anybody. It don't matter who you are, it doesn't matter your background, anything, right? I can get along with
yeah.
anybody. And so that was what Randy was really concerned with. Who am I hanging out with down here? What kind of crowd is it? And so he gets here for my birthday, and I have this friend over here, Jesse. So to this day, him and like literally, man, like one or two other people are the only people I hang out with, man. So I've kind of turned into like when I was in Spanaway, I hung out with so many different people, man. Like it was just, you know what I mean? I had a big network. And here I don't have that. So I missed that part about Spanaway. But anyway, he comes over and he meets Jesse. And him and Jesse are like, they hit it off right off the bat, dude. Like right off the bat. And Randy kept telling me like afterwards, he was just like, man, I really like that Jesse dude. He's really cool, and he's like, I feel comfortable that you're friends with him and that I think you're in good hands now. You know what I mean? Like it was, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, that's what a real friend is like, though. A real friend will tell you that kind of stuff. Like, like I think that dude, I think he's good for you, man. Like he's gonna keep you out of trouble. He's not bad news, this and that. And to this day, Jesse is literally my best friend down here. And when Randy passed, Jesse was here for me all the time, man. He knew how bad that hurt me. He knew he just, you know what I'm saying? He knew, and he really liked Randy. He met him once. He met him one day, dude, and hung out with us for I don't know 2 or 3 hours. And then Jesse was kind of like, he was like, hey man, because normally Jesse stays late and we all kick it, but he was at that night, it was just me, him, and Randy left. And he was like, hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna head home and stuff. It's like he had the four, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but he just knew. He was like, hey, I'm gonna let you hang out with your buddy. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be the third wheel kind of thing. Not in a disrespectful way, but as in a friendly way, like in a good thing. He was
Yeah,
like, hey
yeah,
man, I'm gonna let you guys hang out. And so when he left, it's like that's all Randy talked about was like, he was like, man, that's a good dude. I like that guy. He's cool, man. He seems good person. And so to this day, I hang out with Jesse all the time, man. And we talk about Randy a lot. He met Randy one time, bro, and he was like, he can hold a conversation with me about Randy, only meeting him once, because he's like, Jesse would say, I could see the kind of friend that he was for you. And like, it's like you said earlier, good friends can choose good friends of people and groups to be around. And that's what Jesse is for me
yeah.
here, man. Like, Jesse is that. And Randy saw that in him after meeting him one time. It's really cool, man. And so, yeah, I went from hanging out with big groups of people to now hanging out with one, two people, for the last 7 years. And
Yeah.
it's like, So for me, when I was before we moved here, I had a huge group, and now that I'm getting older and we're here, I'm now kind of done a 180 where I'm like, I'd rather have 4 quarters and 100 pennies kind of person with friends with friends now, where it's like I don't
Yeah,
mind meeting new people and making new friends. Like that's not what I'm saying, but it's like my core, like who I trust and who I really let into my circle, like fully. That's kind of what I live by now. Is I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies, man. And it's those people that you can trust and they got your back. They know they'll be there for you. They'll put you in the right direction. They're always there to help you. Um, and that's what Jesse is for me now here. And it's cool. I'm very blessed for that too, man, to be able to meet somebody like that here. Um, there's there's a lot of characters living down here too, though.
yeah, that's Oregon. That's Oregon for you.
hmm
I lived in Oregon for a short time, so I know
So I, cause
it was
so
actually it was just short of south of Portland. So I was in kind of a I forget what it was called Newburgh. I think it was Newburgh.
Oh, I had cousins that lived in actually, my cousin still lives in Newburgh. So
Yeah.
I was born in Salem, lived in the Salem area till I was 3. Then we moved to Puyallup. I lived in Puyallup from 3 to 8, and then when I was 8, parents got divorced. I went with my dad. We moved back to Beaverton. So I lived in like Beaverton, Tigard, that whole area, St. Helens, Scappoose, Columbia City, all of that until I was 16. And then that's when we moved back to Spanaway, Tacoma area. And then I was there from 16, for like, 23 years or whatever it was. And
Oh
then,
wow.
yeah, and then came back to Oregon.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Puyallup, Spanaway, Tacoma area. I pretty much stayed there all my life. So,
Yep. Yep.
all right. Trying to think of anything else. What do you? Okay, so what do you think we should tell? Like, if people are watching this, hopefully somebody will watch this someday. Um, you got any advice that you would give people these days? Like making friendships, maybe expanding their horizons. You know, so this is all
I,
about brotherhood and friendship.
I think when you're younger, yeah, it's important to have friendships, man. It's important to make multiple friends. And this is just from my experience, man. When I was younger, moving around all the time, it was very important for me to make friends. And it helped me, and I made friends easy. And I think that is super important for people. Being alone sucks, man. Not having people to talk to sucks. And I'm not talking
Yeah,
about having an internet group that you get on. Like, I mean, one on one, like you go and do things with that friend, not sit on a chat group or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like have real conversation with that person and go do things. I think it's huge, man. I think it's very important for men to be friends with other strong men, good morals that teach manners, things like that. Do like how you were saying earlier, you know, opening the door for people. You were taught that at some point in your life, and I think it's important for men to keep that tradition because nowadays dudes will walk by and like step on your foot, bump you in the grocery store, won't even say a damn thing, bro. They just keep
yeah,
walking. You know what I'm saying? And they learn that somewhere, or they didn't have an important figure in their life to teach them that's like, bro, say you're sorry, man. Like, oh, my bad, bro. Like I didn't mean to do that. My fault, or if you're walking by and somebody drops something, pick it up for them. You know what I'm saying? Just, and I think that as us as men need to teach each other those kind of things, and that it's okay to be like that. And like, I don't know, this generation, it almost seems like you get made fun of if you're nice, like if you're a good person. Like you have to be a dick, you have to be an asshole to be cool. And like, I think you need to
yeah,
make friends and you need to have friends to teach you that that's not right, man. That's wrong. Like it's cool, man. It's cool to be a good person. It's cool to be a helpful person and all of that, man. And I think, you learn a lot of that from your friends. Yes, your family too, your parents and all that kind of stuff, relatives. But the older you get, you start hanging out with your friends more than you do your family. And so it's important for you to surround yourself with good people, man. Like a Randy for me and you, or
Yeah.
like a Jesse down here, and like your other four buddies, man. I think it's huge, man. And I mean, the advice that I would give somebody is don't, I don't know, man, don't trust somebody right away. You know what I'm saying? Don't give away too much to that person right away either. Now, I'm not saying be stingy and I'm not saying be closed off, but I think you'll know when you know if that person is somebody that you can trust. But I think for
Trust
me
your gut.
anyway,
Trust
like,
your gut.
yes, exactly, man. But I think there's a little, you have to have a little bit of a period of time where that I guess not, I'm not trying to say you have to vet somebody, but you know what I mean? Like I would say pick and choose your really close friends, people that you call your brother. Be picky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be picky, man, and make sure you get a good one, dude. People that look out for your best interests, people that want to help you, genuinely help you, and not want something in return. Don't get friends that, man, if I let you borrow $5, you better let me borrow $5 next week. Like, not, you know what I'm saying? Don't get friends that if you help them, that they're looking for you to help them right afterwards, that expect it in return, you know? Even though
Yeah.
you should help
Yeah.
each other out. You should, but don't expect it.
There's a funny little story. It's not really a story, but my buddy Josh, he knows a lot more about cars and working on 4x4s and stuff like that. And I don't know, I forget the whole story, the whole situation, but the premise is that, he did a lot more for me than I did for him. I'd help him out on certain things and he'd help me out. Like when my truck broke, he always came over and helped me out and everything. And I was like, man, shit, you keep coming over to help me fix on my truck because, he knew more about diesel pickups than I did.
Yep.
And I'm like, shit, man, I got to help you out more or something like that. And he's like, dude, it's not even about that. It's, friends do that for friends. You don't expect something in return. You just do it. You don't keep a scorecard. You did this for me, so I got to do that for you. You did these three things, so I got to do three things for you. That's not what friends do. Friends just do it just because they do it. You know, they don't expect anything in return. Randy helped me out a bunch of times when my car would break. I take it to a shop. He'd help me out.
Yep.
You know, but then on the other hand, I would be the one that climbed on his roof, putting on his damn Christmas lights. Putting up all his Halloween displays. He didn't like getting up on the roof, so he was like, "Well, you're not afraid of heights, so can you come and do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." I never expected anything in return. He was my little brother. I'm gonna go help him out. He needs help. I'll do whatever I need to. And I got to hang out with him and spend time with him and the kids and Jen and all that. So I was like, I was happy to do it.
Yep.
I never cried or complained about it. That's what friends do. You do stuff for each other, not expecting anything in return. You don't need to keep scorecard. That's just what you guys do. You know.
And so like being down here with meeting Jesse, man, that's what Jesse is for me here, man. Like there's no way, honestly, like in the last 7 years, I don't think I could ever, if we were keeping score and keeping a tally, I don't think I'd ever be able to match all the things that he's done for me and my family since we lived here.
Yeah.
He's like Randy for me down here, he knows, he's lived here his whole life, so he knows everybody. He's always hooking me up with like with Randy's truck. As of right now, man, it's the exhaust manifolds have because the weather down here is like really there's a lot of salt in the air and all that. So
Yeah.
the exhaust manifolds have kind of rusted out and they got holes in them now. And so it was
Oops.
making this weird, yeah, it was making this weird knock. I thought it was like a knocking noise, but what it was just the air coming out of those holes, which kind of sounded like, anyway, long story short, he knows everybody here. So he took the truck himself and took it to this guy that he trusts. And they thought it was his truck. So they're hooking him up like price wise. And you know what I'm saying? And so
Nice.
that's just the kind, yeah. And that's the kind of person Jesse is. He's just like Randy, dude. Like, he gets it because he goes to the casino all the time and he's just like Randy. He loves to go to the casino and gamble. Like that's his thing. Just like Randy. And so just like Randy, he gets all the perks from doing that. And so all those perks he gets, all the comps and free tickets to shows and all that, he shares those with my family. And like he's Randy, bro. It's crazy. They're a lot alike in so many ways, dude. Like, um, and so like for people that are going to be watching this, it's like find a Randy, find a Jesse. I know the
Yeah,
people that are
exactly.
watching don't know who those people are, but what I'm saying, like, find somebody like that is would be my advice. And what was so cool, man, is like his Jesse's son Triton. Um, when we first moved down here, I started a basketball program here, just like I had in Tacoma, and Triton was one of the kids that I picked if we had tryouts, and I was only going to keep 10. Triton was one of the ones that made the cut. And ever since then, Triton has been in my life. Triton, for some of his projects in wood class for 2 years in a row, has made something for me for his woodshop project. Um, and it's amazing, dude. It's like it's the coolest feeling in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid went out of his way, and somehow, I don't know how, man, I made an impact in that kid's life that he always thinks of me as those projects. And Jesse was like, man, he didn't even make me nothing. He makes you these projects in wood shop. And so, basketball's over this year, and I've been kind of having a hard time with it. And I've been, and Jesse knows that. And so Jesse sent me a super cool message the other day, a couple weeks ago now. But he was like, hey, by the way, on they call it senior spotlight. For all the seniors that are graduating, they do a senior spotlight, and you can write down things that you want to do, your greatest achievements, people you want to thank, and all that. And he hit me up and he was like, hey, by the way, dude, you made honorable mention on Triton's senior spotlight. And I was just like, what? And so he showed me the post for the high school, and it just he put me down as one of the people that have inspired him and that have been there for him, and he thanked that. And like those kind of things, man, mean so much, dude. It's like it's overwhelming, honestly. It's like, damn, like, little old me from Spanaway, who used to be a not a good person, is like all of a sudden now in these kids' lives. And like, I don't know, bro. It's overwhelming, man. It's like wow. And so then Jesse was like, man, there's times where, he's like, I think my son more than I do. He goes to you before he comes to me. And it's just like when he said that, it was like, you know what I mean, though? It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, it's meaningful. This friendship is meaningful that he would say that about his own son. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That he trusts me like that, that you know what I mean? Like, that there's that respect level there that he's totally cool with his son coming to me. And he has no problem with it. He's not mad about it. There's no animosity, nothing like that. It's just, man, you've been there for my son. Thank you. And that's what the whole text was. And I'm just like, shit blows me away, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I guess, I don't know. Those are things that you should look for in a friendship, in a brotherhood, somebody that you're going to really call your brother. Because I think the word family nowadays gets thrown out there too easily. If I'm going to call you my family, that means like you are welcome, and you will be invited when I hang out with my mom, when I hang out with my dad, when my kids around. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's family. Like, you're invited into my intimate life. Like, not just we're gonna go kick it and have beers and drink, go to the casino, go to Vegas, whatever. No, man. Like, if you're my family, then you're invited to my house no matter what. Whatever's mine is yours. When you come over here, you don't have to ask for anything. If you want something, dude, I'm not getting it for you to kick your ass in the kitchen and go get it yourself, bro. My house is your
yep,
house, man. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
If you need to borrow my ride, if you need to borrow something out of the garage, come over and get it. Like, it's what's mine is yours. And I think that, I've only had a few friends that I could do that with. Randy, Jesse. I have another, really, really good friend. His name's Brandon also. Um, you know, just different people, man. I mean, I have a few friends. There's like a handful or whatever, and but yeah, that's what friends are, man. Is like, you find those kind of people, dude, that no matter what, you trust 100%. They trust you. There's no keeping score on who helps each other out more. It's just you're there because you want to. You help them out because that's what good friends do, man. You go out of your way for those people. You show up for those people. You be there for them. And if they show that to you and that's reciprocated back, man, that's a good friend, bro. That's a good friend.
No, I agree. It's the same thing you said. If I invite you to my house, then you have a certain level of trust there for me because this is my family. This is if you want to hurt me, that's my family. So if I trust you
Yes.
enough to come into my home, we're around my dogs, around my wife,
Yes.
then you've earned that trust, you know. And
I let you
it's
you are able to come into my home where my wife and my son lay their head at night to sleep. Like, yes, that's trust, bro. Like that you're a friend.
yeah, and they've earned it, because I don't let just anybody over to my house. If I'm inviting you over, then you've got my respect and my trust because you know there's a lot of guys out there that I've known in my life that I never gave my address to. I never hung out with them. I might like I'll stay after work and talk to them or something, but I won't. They'll hey, let's go grab a drink or something. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I gotta get home. There's just those guys. I'm like, I'm cool with you at work and stuff, but outside of work, I don't. And the funny thing is, I got a strict rule is that guys I work with, I don't let in my personal life. I'm not Facebook friends with them. They got my number only if it's work related. I'm not. I have a strict rule. That's just the way I've always been. Because I got my buddy Tim. Me and him were work buddies, and we never hung out until we stopped working with each other. When I went to another company, that's when I started hanging out with him. We went camping together, went off roading together. We did all that stuff. And he was a good dude, but I'm just for some reason I don't know what it is, but I don't like people in my personal life unless I trust you 100%. And
Yep.
and people I work with, there's a lot of good people I work with, but there's some guys I just don't want anywhere near me or in my life. I don't want them knowing my wife, my kids, all that stuff. So no, I get
Yeah, man.
exactly that level of trust.
And also, like, I just want to make a disclaimer out there. If any of my friends do or anybody I know watches this, I just want to make sure that I say real quick that Sam is one of those friends for me. Moody, Brandon, Fredley, and Jeremiah, man. Like, if anybody watches it, I don't want them being like, hey, what the hell? So those dudes are it for me, man. And again, it's a small list that I mean, don't get me wrong. I have other guys that are friends, right? But those dudes, you know what I mean? Jesse down here and Brandon that's up there and Fredley and Sam and Jeremiah, those guys, and then Austin and Dylan. But those dudes are like they'll be there for me, and I know they will. If it's a phone, it's just like, hey, I'm in trouble, man. I need you guys. I know they'd be here. Sam and Jeremiah both have come down here and visited me. Which have been awesome. I really appreciate that when my friends come because I know it's 4 hours, man. You know what I'm saying? And you have to go out of your way to do it, and it's not convenient, and it's a long drive and gas money and blah blah blah. I understand all that, but when those guys actually do make it a point to come down and show me I'm important to them still, that shit means a lot, man. Like it means to me, um, yeah, not trying to get all mushy and shit, but like that means a lot to me, man. That you took it out of you went out of your way, took the time and the inconvenience to come and show me that you care, show me that you're still my boy. And so, yeah, that's to me, man. Those are friends, dude. And those guys that I just named, man, are those are it for me. Like the ones that I know I can count on if I ever needed it. And again, not to say that those are my only friends, but it's a little different, man, to when you could say that you got somebody that 100% you call them, they'll be here.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. There's that meme that went around, or it's still going around. It's the one with Ben Affleck comes up to Jeremy Renner, and he comes up. I forget. I know I'm gonna botch it, but he comes up and says, um, he comes up to Jeremy Renner and says, "I got something to do. You can't ask me what it is, or you can't ever ask me why I did it."
Oh,
And
that's
but all you need, yeah, I know it's out of a movie, but I forget the meme though.
oh, what
But the
movie
premise
is
is,
that?
but he
I
says,
know the
you can't
movie.
ever ask for this, you can't do this, and we're going to hurt some people. And then Jeremy
Yep.
Renner's like, "Are you driving or am I?" That's
Yep.
that's that pretty much that epitomizes what brothers are, or what friendship, deep friendship is. That's the kind
Oh,
of stuff
what?
that's like. if you have to bury a body, just tell me where and when, man. It's like,
What
but
movie
yeah, I've
was
seen
that,
that.
bro?
I forget. But I seen the
Dang
meme and
it.
I was like, and the funny thing is, I sent it off to like Eric and all of them. I'm like, yeah, that pretty much sums up our friendships. It's like you get in trouble, I got your back. You don't have to ask twice.
Yeah. Oh, and then so like when I do go, like another thing is when I go to Spanaway or whatever, it's like my buddy Fredley, every time, well, Austin too and Dylan, but every single time they make it a point to come visit me, even when I'm there just for the day. I might, I drive up there and we have to literally turn around and drive back the same day. Those guys will always come and hang out with me. We'll go do happy hour, and it's like every time, like clockwork, man. Every
Yeah.
single time, man. Yeah, it's pretty cool because you can count you just you can count on them, man, and it's like the hardest part is, dude, is like like if I was to go to Spanaway and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm only here for a couple hours, man. You guys want to meet up? And nobody comes and nobody shows up, and you're just like, damn. Like I get, I understand things come up and people are busy, but it's like those dudes show up every time. They even change plans to show up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, man, that's
Yeah.
to me, it means a lot, man. It's pretty damn cool.
No. Yeah, it is. It's like, okay. Well, I had a train of thought here for a second. Um, Shit, I forget. That happens more and more as I get older, unfortunately. But no, it's yeah, yeah. But
Oh, I got, well, real quick too. I also got it. Like, there's another Randy and Cyrus, man. I got to give them a shout out too. I know those dudes would help me out if I ever needed it. So if they ever see this, I don't want no one getting mad at me. Those guys would be there too.
yeah, friendships. That's I think, like I said before, I think it's the most important thing in a guy growing up, and I think young boys need that. I think
Yes.
they need it immensely, and then as we get older, we need it. I think it's a. I wish I had buddies down here that I could go to car shows with and go hang out, but I just don't. I don't get out enough, and I don't have enough time to go out and do it because I'm always driving or working or whatever. But at least I got guys I can get on camera with and call up
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So,
Yep. Do
but no, oh yeah,
podcasts.
yeah, do podcasts. But yeah, actually, I just remembered the same thing when I came up there to visit my grandmother. Um, I also had to visit my boys, Eric and Sean and Ben and all them. I had to go out and it's just kind of a natural thing that I go up there to visit. I got to see the boys. Oh, yeah, that's right. I just thought of this. There's a song that I listen to. It's a country song. It's called "Hometown Boys," and
Uh-huh.
one of the verses it talks about how your boys are the first people you go to when you either go to jail, when you get your first kiss, your first accident, you buy your first car. Those are the guys that you always go to first. It's just kind of a natural thing when you got those good friends. It's like they're the first people that you contact, either when you're
Yep.
in the best place or in the worst place. And
Yes.
that reminded me when you were talking about that. I was like, yeah, that's. And then that song popped in my head because it's a good song. And it's like, yeah, those are my hometown boys. Those are the guys I grew up with. Those are my boys. My brothers. So
Yep.
it's a good song. It reminded me a lot of it. It's like, you know what? I blast it every time I hear it. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's. I miss my boys. You know, because I got 45 years of memories with all those guys. It's like, yeah, I'm beyond lucky to have that and those memories.
Yeah, that's a good trait to have, to call a friend. Like when like you think of that person when the great times, and you think of that person to go to when the worst of times, when you're going through something super bad, like, devastating to you. Those are the guys you think of because they'll be there for you, they'll comfort you, they got your back. And then also, like, same thing in that song, man. When you go through the best of times and you're just so happy about something, those are the first people you think of to call, and you want to share that joy with, because you know that they'll be happy with you, that you know that you won. They're happy that you won, and It's yeah, those are the kind of people, man, that you want to have in your life, bro.
Okay, so this is kind of an embarrassing story, I'm gonna say, but I figure I'm gonna be a little open and honest here and a little blunt. So this was Eric and Brian. This was when I was, I want to say 16ish, 15, 16, 17, it's about 15, 16. Um, I can't even believe I'm talking about this. So
This one's gonna be good then.
yeah, so growing up, I never had the talk with my dad about
Okay,
birds and the
I know where we're
bees,
going.
that sort of thing.
Yep, yep.
Um, so when I was going through puberty, I was having some issues, I should say.
Right.
Some, you start popping boners for the first time. You're kind of going, what the hell is this going on? And you start looking at Sears catalog and all this other stuff. I'm not gonna get too graphic, but yeah, when I was like 12, 13, 14, when I was going through puberty, I was kind of, you're a young man's going through those feelings, and they're starting to have that stuff happen. You're
Yep.
not in control of it. It just kind of pops up and it happens, and you got to deal with it,
Literally.
literally. So, but the thing is, I never had any conversation with my dad, my uncles. I didn't know anything about that. Okay, I would see stuff on TV and get excited, and I would have to deal with it. But for the longest time, I always thought there was something wrong with me because nobody ever had that talk.
Right.
So jerking off was just like, maybe I'm screwed up somehow. Maybe I'm
Right.
sick. Maybe there's some wire upstairs that was crossed
It's like,
that
am I
makes me
weird?
do this. Yeah, exactly. Am I a freak? Am I freaking weird because I'm jerking off to some lady in a
Yep.
bra in a Sears catalog,
The
um,
lingerie section.
lingerie section, or a Madonna cover album. There's a couple Madonna things that I was like, yeah, that did it for me sometimes. So fast forward though, so I did that for a couple of years, and I didn't know how to deal with it. Didn't know who to talk to. I was embarrassed. I didn't
Right.
want to talk to my dad about it. I didn't want to talk to my uncles. So like I said, I think it was about 15, 16. I'm on a three-way call with Brian and Eric, and I'm telling I stretched this out probably for a good 30 minutes. They were probably like trying to figure out what was wrong with me because I kept kind of beating around the bush. I wasn't telling
Yep.
them what was happening. I just something was wrong with me. Something happened to me. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know who to talk to. They probably thought I was like assaulted, like in a
Right.
bad way
Right. Yep.
by somebody. I think that's probably what they were thinking. I remember this like it was fucking yesterday. I'm talking to them, and they keep saying they say just say it, dude. Just come out and say it. We're your buddies. We're gonna be there for you. We're. And finally, I said, well, I jerk off, and they both go, what? Are you fucking kidding?
That's
All
what it
this
is.
you're making this whole big scene because of that, and they're like, everybody does it,
Every
and I was like,
fucking boy does that shit.
and I'm sitting there going, are you fucking kidding me? They're like, yeah, we do it all the time. I'm like, seriously, dude. For the last few years, I've been thinking I'm like a freak and I'm screwed up somehow, and they tell me, but it's like, but they were my best friends. They were my boys, and
Yep.
that's the kind of friendship I had with them, and I still have that to this day. You know, um,
Yeah.
you know, Eric's daughter, Brian's daughter, they're nieces to me. Randy's boys are nephews to me. I mean, we're all a family. And I couldn't even, and they always will be. You know,
Yeah.
so that's what defines friendships right there. Is moments like that.
You can share the most embarrassing that what you think is the most embarrassing thing, and you can share it with them, and you know what I'm saying. Like that's a lot of guts to share that with somebody that you trust,
I
bro. And that
was
just
I
proves.
was yeah, I was so scared to tell anybody, and they're the closest people I could talk to, but I was still embarrassed and scared to tell them even. I'm like, God, are they gonna think I'm a fucking weirdo or I'm a freak or I'm broken or some other weird shit? No,
Yeah.
they're just they almost laughed it off like, dude, you gotta relax. That's nothing. Everybody does it. Every kid
Yeah.
does it at your age. We're all going through that.
Yep.
So and then from then on I was like, well shit. All right, well that was easy. So
Yeah. That's those are good friends right there, man. You're like, man, you just made something that I was super embarrassed about. You made it like it was nothing, dude. Like, cool. I can talk to y'all about
but
anything.
yeah, exactly. And that's where it goes back to the whole I trust them. I can trust
Yeah.
them with my darkest, deepest secrets. Um, I like even right now, I've got a few things that only they know about, you know,
Yeah.
that that I don't tell anybody else. I don't tell all my family. I don't tell all my, any other relatives. They're the only guys that know these kind of things. What I did this time, what I did at that time. So you gotta have those guys. I mean,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's important. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's an important part of a guy growing up.
Yep.
And
True, man.
if we don't have those friendships, we're gonna fail as a race, as a human race.
Yep. Yep.
you know,
I
if
agree with that.
if your best friend is on a television screen and 10,000 miles away, that's not. You're not gonna make it far.
It's not genuine, man. It's not real, dude. Like, I don't
No,
know. I think and like
it's
for
artificial.
me, yeah, I like for me, I hate texting. Like if it's just like, hey, I'm on my way, or hey, let's meet, whatever. Like if it's a quick text back and forth, that's cool. But I got some friends, bro, that will sit there and literally they'll text you, hey, what's up? And you'll go to call them. They won't answer the phone, but they'll sit there and have a 4 or 5 hour texting back and forth with you. And you're like, for me, I'm just like, dude, like it takes 4 hours to have this conversation. We could get on the phone and have it over in 5 minutes. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's not you there. You can't. There's no emotion behind a text. There's nothing. It's just for me. And this might sound really weird or strange, but for me, man, it's like I don't like the text thing. Like unless it's just like a super short on my way, be there in 5 minutes kind of But if I'm gonna have a whole conversation with somebody, it ain't gonna be over a text, man. I'll just stop. Like cool. I'm not gonna reply until you call me, man. Because I'll just reply, call me. And it's like sometimes like I don't know if it's because of our I don't know, man, because of the technology and because of the time we're in right now, if people are nervous and afraid to actually talk on the phone, they'd rather type. I don't know, man. To me, and this might be super weird. It's like, most people will probably be like, that's not a big deal. But to me, man, it's like it drives me nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean, like with the guys that I like, Eric and them, we have a an ongoing messenger on Facebook, and we
Yep.
we talk, but we talk about just stupid shit, politics,
Right.
what's going on. We just talk about that, but the more serious stuff, yeah, I'll call them. They'll call me. If we need to talk about something, I'm like, yeah. When my buddy Sean passed, um, I called them all. I called Ben, I called Eric, I called Brian, because that's a more serious thing. That's something you need to
Yeah.
not don't do a text. That's something I got to talk about. And even like me writing these books, I've been actually getting into book writing and stuff. I'm basing all the characters on all of us, me and my guy friends.
That's
It's
awesome. That's cool.
the one book series I'm writing. It's kind of like the A Team, but I'm in it. Eric's in it. Brian, Ben, my buddy Sean is in it. And then I'll make other characters from people I know, like my uncle or some other person. So people in
That's
my
cool.
in my circle, I kind of make, you know, I'm letting them become part of the book and my story, and
That's
because
cool.
I like to use my friends and family when I'm telling stories, because I've always wanted to write books. I've got probably a dozen different books I'm going to write, and I
Nice.
try to find a way to have my friends in those books because they are such a part of my life that now that I'm writing books and trying to get published and stuff like that, I want them to be a part of it too. So it's just maybe I'm the only one that does that, but it's important to me because they played such an important part of my life that I'm trying to make them more important, more of a part of my life too. Even if it's in fantasy books, it's just
Yep.
who I am. That's how important they are to me. You know,
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That is super cool.
yeah,
And like you were saying, like with
yeah,
these podcasts and stuff, that you're gonna have a lot of those guys doing different podcasts with you, man. And that's so cool. That's you share that with your friends, man, and let them be a part of that stuff. And in return, they help you out by doing it. It's cool.
and it goes back to that trust thing. I could put a post out in some of these men support groups and say, hey, I'm looking for some guests to interview, talk to, but I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know what kind of people they are. I don't know their history. I don't know what they've been through. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it with my friends because those guys I trust. Those guys I can tell the masturbation story to. You know, I can tell you this
Yep.
um, because I trust you. I feel comfortable with you. I know you're not going to sit there and judge me or make fun of me or do anything. We'll get a laugh out of it because it was funny.
Yep.
I look back at it
Yeah.
and go, yeah, Jesus Christ, I made such a mountain out of a fucking molehill.
Yep.
Whatever. But that was a young kid. I didn't know any better. But the only way that I can be honest and open in this kind of a setting is if it's with my friends. And thankfully, I've got good friends out there that I can do stuff like this with. Like you're one of them, and I think that's what is going to make this the best, hopefully successful. But I think that's the best way to do this thing for me, anyways. Maybe I've seen other podcasts they interview strangers, and I see them start arguing and bitching and moaning and doing all this other stuff. And it's like they're always interrupting each other. They're always cutting each other off. They'll start demeaning and belittling the other person. They'll make fun of them, and I'm just like, that's I'm not into that fucking shit. I'm not into all that drama. So I'm sticking to strictly my friends, the people I trust, the people I know. I got their back, they got my back. There's no judgment. There's no, you know, I don't. I feel. I hate to use the word, but I feel safe with them. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think and I'm lucky I got you guys out there that I can do this stuff because this is kind of like a um like I said, it's partly therapy for me, so I can deal with my own stuff.
Yeah.
But um, oh god, going
And you
in a
never know,
brain
man.
fart.
Well, you never know. Somebody might watch this one day, dude, and it might just resonate with them and hit home with them. And it was something they needed, a conversation they needed to hear, and hear two men talking about it back and forth, and it could really help somebody, man. And that's what I think is so cool that you're doing this, man. And that's why I was like, shoot, yeah, I'll definitely do this with you, man, because you never know, it might help somebody someday, man. And again, like that's why I think that this is so cool that you're doing it, man. And I support it 100%, bro. It's awesome. Somebody needs to do it.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I'm glad. It's you guys are kind of helping me fulfill something that I feel that I need to do. You know, all the things that I've been through in my life. It's like I'm trying to you know be a better person, kind of handle things that I've gone through, kind of come to terms with a lot of things. And one of those things is like, I'm trying to help other people because I spent my life just thinking about myself and not caring about anybody or anything, especially me. I didn't even care about myself. And so, I'm so appreciative and so glad that you guys are helping me out because it's kind of fulfilling a little bit of a dream for me. It's like, hey, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't probably be able to do this because I tried for the last year to sit here and talk to a camera, and I spent a month. I spent a month trying to record a 15-minute video, and it took forever for me to do it. And I was like, after I watched it, I'm like, I'm just talking to a screen. I'm not having any kind of a interaction, and
Yeah.
that's what I think I feel more comfortable when I'm talking to somebody, and
Oh, for
my
sure.
personality comes out a little better. So like I said, it's just you guys are kind of helping me out, try to fulfill something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So, and in turn, hopefully, I can help other people because it's, you know, in the long run, I want my life to mean something because I look back at 40 years of my life, I'm going, if I died tomorrow, I don't really have much of a legacy of sorts, you know, and I wasted so much of my life being so pissed off and angry and all this other stuff. And now I'm kind of looking at my life now and I'm like, you know what? I got to do something for other people. You know, I got to try to have some kind of meaning for my life. And the best people for me to be able to allow to do that is my friends, you know,
Yeah.
because they've always had my back. They've always been there for me. They see things in me that I don't see in myself. And I think if I'm going to succeed at this, it's going to be because of you guys. You know, you guys are going to help me bring that out in me. You guys are going to allow me to see myself and go, hey, you know what? I am actually proud of myself because
Yep.
you guys believed in me. Now I'm finally believing in me to be able to do this. Because before it's like I never believed in myself. You know, I hated, like I said, I hated life. I hated the world. My dad's sick. I'm not going to be happy. And I live my life that way. So, you know, now that he's gone, there's a big hole. But at the same time, you know, I'm learning to try to find purpose in life. I guess that's what I guess maybe that's on the big scheme of things. That's what all of us want. You know, we want to have our life mean something. We want to be able
Yep.
to help others. We want to be good people. We want to enjoy life. And it's like, you know, I can go and work as a truck driver for the rest of my life. I can go and do some other thing, but it's just it doesn't give me purpose. I need to find something else, and so that's why I was like, you know what? I think if I can get past all my other stuff, and if I can deal with all my demons, so to speak, that the best version of me is actually going to come out. And it's like this is going to be the way I do it. You know, it's not working 2 or 3 jobs till I'm 75 where I croak over dead. It's by doing stuff like this. You know, a lot of people
Yeah.
believed in me and believe that I deserve good things. Now I'm finally starting to see it in myself. It's like this is what I want to do. So you know, it's and again it comes back. It's my friends are that part of my life that it's allowing me to do this. If I didn't have these guys and you guys, this wouldn't be happening. You know, I like again, I'm a broken record, but I would be in a much different place.
Me too, man. And yeah, I mean, for me, for what you just said was your thing. Basketball was that for me, man. Being able to give back a little bit and just it's kind of crazy, man. Just it's a sport, right? It doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean a lot. It's just it's a ball you're trying to put in a hoop, like But basketball was the platform. But what basketball represented after like now sitting back and thinking about stuff, I still have like relationships with some of these kids that were in kindergarten, man. They still reach out to me through Facebook. Some of like two of them moved to the Philippines, bro, and we still stay in contact. They moved to the Philippines in 5th grade, graduated this year. So that's 7 years, man, and we're still communicating back and forth. And they always could. It's coach. That's all. Hey, coach, what's up? Blah blah blah. This and that, And so basketball was that for me, man. Being able to give back a little bit and just give kids an opportunity that might not have had it otherwise. I had lots of kids a part of Be Legendary, man, before we moved, that didn't make it on other basketball teams, that other basketball teams didn't want them, didn't give them a shot. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I
You
was
know,
like, I'm not turning nobody away. Like, you want to come play basketball, you want to get better, awesome. And so I would do that. There was never, not ever a kid that I said, no, you can't be on this team, man. You're not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, it never happened. And so Be Legendary it meant so much to me just to be able to get back to those kids in that community, man, and that didn't have shots otherwise. And confidence, just teaching them that, yeah, oh, dude, somebody does want me, like somebody does think I'm good enough to be on this team and gives me that opportunity and shot. And then, some of those dudes turned out to be really good basketball players later in life. Um, and so it's just, I don't know, man. It's that was like for you that, this is that for you where basketball is what this is for you, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
yeah, man, it's cool that we, you know, for you and myself that we found something that gives us, you know, that we enjoy and then it gives back too.
Yeah. And that's and one really quick story before we go, but this is this is what um, it sounds silly to most people, and I probably will talk about it more in another podcast. But actually, I'll just wait till later because it's not about friendship. It's just about what I went through and how some things changed me. But I'll say that for another day. But yeah, because it's whatever.
No, I
um,
get it, man. I get it. Oh, and real quick though, before we get off here, man, I do have to give a shout out to Holly and Zeke. Because you know Holly, if I don't say her name, she's come down here to visit me twice. And if I don't say Holly, she'll be calling me bitching at me. You didn't say my name. What the you know how Holly is. So I always got to give
oh yeah,
Holly shit. Gotta give
I
Holly
know.
shit. But no, they're Holly and Zeke were two other ones that you know, is as much as we give Holly shit and clown her, me and Randy was it was relentless, dude. I'm surprised she even talks to us still. Like I'm surprised she even is our friend, man. But she's more than a friend. Holly's my sister, you know. She's called me her little brother and she's been my sister forever, man. But yeah, I got to give them some shit.
She,
If I don't shout out Holly and Zeke, man, she's gonna get all butt hurt and she'll be calling me. So I gotta.
I
They're they're two great friends, also, bro.
yeah, I've known Holly since she was a kid. She has always been. I mean, I love her to death. She's family. She's like my little sister, my cousin. Um, yeah, she's. But it was so fun making fun of her all the time. Especially Randy making fun of her. It was so funny. And she took it like a champ too.
Oh,
She
she
was.
did, bro.
She gave it
I
back,
think
but it was fun.
I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody else that would take that amount of abuse, bro, and always come back and always be wanting to hang out and calling us to hang out. Because, dude,
Yeah,
like even when I come to Spanaway to visit Holly and Zeke, every once in a while they'll meet up for happy hour or whatever before I have to head home. And from the time she gets there, dude, until the time we leave, I am just hammering her, bro. Just oh, I give her such a hard time, man. And I always tell her, I'm like, I got to make up for lost time, man. Like I haven't seen you for a while, haven't talked to you for a while, so I got to get all this shit out now. And but she knows
yeah.
it's in love. It's all love, man.
Oh yeah,
It's just what we do. And but damn, bro, she got it the worst out of everybody.
she did. Randy was relentless to her.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. Randy would like post something like on Facebook, would post something about her, just talking so much shit, bro. It's so funny. Then he would tag all of us and he'd be like, what do you guys think? You guys should weigh in on this. And then it'll just be like this list of all these people and then Holly's over there by herself trying to defend herself.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
funny as
so
all
funny,
hell.
man. Uh,
Well,
too funny,
that's
man.
family for you.
Yes. And see, and I guess that's another thing to go about with friendship there, man, is that as much shit as we give her, she knows we love her. She knows that we'll always be there for her. If she ever needed anything, we would be there for her and help her, you
Oh yeah,
know? And it's
oh
just,
yeah, for sure.
that's how, I don't know what it is, bro, but we're literally like, she's like my big sister. I'm like her little brother. We pick on each other like that, dude. Like I said, at the end of the day, I know she'd be there for me. She knows I'd be there for her. And I guess that's
Yeah,
another thing to go with this whole friendship podcast is, you know, that friendship. I actually met Randy because of her. And I met her because of Gary Lynn. I met Gary Lynn
um,
first when I was like 17 because he lived in the same cul-de-sac when we moved. And funny story, but yeah, Holly used to buy us beer and stuff when we were 18. Holly
she
was the
would
one.
do that.
Oh, bro, but her stipulation was, man, we always, no matter what, we had to buy her two Saint and a pack of cigarettes. That was always her stipulation. She's like, yeah, I got you. I'll get that for you guys. But I need a pack of these smokes or whatever and two bottles of these Saint the special brew. It was just, oh, it was so funny, man. But yeah, Holly was awesome, man. That's her and Zeke. I do miss, man. I really miss kicking it with them. But like I said, they do show up every once in a while when I'm in town, so that's always awesome. And
Yeah,
they've come down here to visit me twice too. So
that's
yeah,
good.
it's been cool. Yeah, but I just said I had to give a shout out to them before we were done.
Nope, that's all good. Um, so I'll switch gears real quick. Just a,
Yeah,
I like, I'm trying this new thing. I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna do the third part. I'm still trying to figure that out. But all the serious talk, I want to kind of throw like a fun question out there. Like, so if you won $1 million, if you won the lotto tomorrow, what would you do with it?
man. Like how much money are we talking here? Just a million or how what are we talking?
Say 100 million.
100, oh dang, 100 million. First thing I would do, literally the very first thing I would do is I would go and pay off whatever debt my mom had. That'd be the first thing. No matter, even if it was only a million, that'd be my very 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 first thing. Whatever I don't whatever debt she had would be, pay that off and then give her a huge chunk. I don't, like, depends on the, if it's 100 million, I'm giving her 20 of it. You know what I'm saying? After I pay everything off, and that way she can do whatever she wants. I would do the same thing for my dad. Um, Honestly, man, Christine's parents, I'd probably give most of it away, man. I'd probably, out of 100 million, I'd probably keep 10 for myself, bro, and the rest of it, it'd be between my family. Like I said, my mom would be first, and then the rest of it would just be maybe treating my friends who, like Jesse, man. I'd be somebody. Jesse here, who's always hooked me up and taking care of me. I'm taking him on vacation.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know, man. There's quite a few, like, for basketball wise. I would, the school that Jordan went to doesn't have a very big basketball fund. I'd give them a lot of money. I'd give so that the kids could get new uniforms, basketball, stuff like that, man.
nice.
I don't know, bro. Like, that's honestly, that's what I would do with it. Is just take care of friends and family, and then yeah, kids that, especially for the school up there. The school's been really good to me and Jordan for the last 4 years, so they'd get a huge chunk of it to use for sports, for the kids. Um, yeah, man. I have a buddy. Don't want to put his business out there, but I have a buddy named Chris. I would help him out a lot. Him and his family. They really need it right now, and so he'd be somebody I'd help out. But that's what it would go to for me, man. Most of it, 80% of it would be gone. I just got friends and family I'd give it to, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'd help out friends and family, make sure that we're all set. They don't have to worry
Yep.
about anything. Um, and then I definitely, this is another thing me and my wife are working on. I'm sure you've heard about it. We want to open our own rescue ranch. So
Yeah.
that would be probably a 200-acre ranch that would do nothing but. And it's funny too because every time the lotto or the Powerball gets up to like 200-300 million, I actually when it got up to a billion, I was like, man, how much would that be? I'd do this. I'd calculate this. I'm like, okay, now if I put, because I have this whole layout of what I want for the ranch. It's going to have a adoption agency. It's going to have a vet hospital. It's going to have a puppy nursery. It's going to have a retirement home for old dogs. I mean, it's just a whole big complex. And so I was like, yeah, that's probably where most of the money is going to go.
That's
But
awesome,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
No, that
yeah,
is that is super cool.
we're trying to. I mean, I'm trying to start it right now. I went and I applied for the EIN number. I got that. The next will be for the 5013C status, nonprofit. So, and then that way we can, kind of go from there. But it's going to be a very slow process. We'll have to start slow and then work our way up. But yeah, that's definitely. I definitely take a very long vacation. I haven't had any kind of vacation since me and my wife got married a few years back, and I was like, man, I get my dad's Camaro restored. That's for sure too. I got
Oh,
that
bad
68.
medicine.
Yeah, I got that sitting out in the garage. I'm like, man, that thing would be completely restored to primo condition. So, um, yeah, but
I think
yeah,
to
like,
piggyback To piggyback off of what you said, man, I think a vacation that would have to be in order to definitely go travel, go see the world, man. Go see some cool spots. Like my, if I could pick one place to go, like my ultimate vacation, dude, it's I'd really want to go to Tahiti to Bora Bora and go stay on like out in the water on those huts, dude.
Yeah, I seen those.
Like,
I looked at. I was like, well, I wonder how much those are, and I looked it up. It was like $30,000 a night or something. I was like, that ain't gonna ever happen. But
dude, the ones man, I looked it up. I can't remember what resort it was. So the hut that you stay in, right? So you have that long dock that you have to go all the way out to
yeah,
the hut. That's way out of the end, and they give you a golf cart to get back and forth.
mhm,
The whole floor was glass, bro. And so you're looking down and you see all the fish. It's only like 20 feet deep right there. And so you
yeah,
can literally see all the way to the bottom. And you got fish, you got sea turtles, all that shit, dude, swimming underneath. And like that would be so dope to me, man. They got like the in the back, there's an outdoor, like you have a regular bathroom and all that stuff, bedrooms inside, but on the back, you got a jacuzzi, you have a shower in the back that's private. So like you
yeah,
can shower outside in the tropical, like and then you have a boat, like a little boat that's nothing big. It's like a little dinghy with like a little motor on the back, but that's on the side too. That's all comes with like that would be dope, man. I think that would be that'd be like if I could pick one vacation, that'd be it. I think
yeah,
that'd be cool. And like on like in the resort too looks super cool, man. Like the restaurants they had there at that resort was yeah, man. That's what I would that'd have to be the trip.
yeah, yeah. I would actually tell all my boys. I'll be like, all right, take a month off or wherever you're at. I'll pay your wages. I'll do whatever. But we're all going on vacation somewhere for a month. We're just gonna get away.
That'd
We're
be
gonna
so
take. We'll take the spouses if we need to or whatever. But yeah,
I was
we're all
super
taking a break.
Yeah, man, I was super envious of my brother, dude. Like when this was, oh man, about 10 years ago, he just one day, bro, literally was like, I want to go travel. He packed a backpack, two pairs of clothes in it, the shoes on his feet, a laptop, cell phone, and his charger, and he was gone. He left for like a year. He went to so that first year that he left, he went to like 23 different countries and backpacked, bro. And
Wow.
like, oh, it an amazing story. So he would go to like these different farms and he would work at these farms for room and board. And they would, they give him a little bit of pay, but mostly what it was room and board. And so he would just jump from all these places, man. Like he went all over Asia, he went all over Europe, he went all over Africa, like just crazy. Yeah, man. Went to uh oh man, I just lost my train of thought. The pyramids. Egypt.
Egypt.
He went to Egypt, loved it. Went to Amsterdam, said that was probably one of the coolest places he's ever been. Like I said, all over Asia. Just, I just thought that was so cool, man. You know what I mean? And like, just he just left. He was like, I'm just gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, had no plan, dude. Just no plan. Just dipped out and then just made that for a year. Like, that is so cool. And then he came back home for like a year or two. He came back and then he left and did it again. But this time he went because he loved Asia so much, and he just went to like Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, all this different stuff. He met his wife there. He met this girl. They got married. He has 3 kids now. They actually moved back here. His wife is here on a visa. Um, and yeah, it's like I was just like, man, how cool is that, dude? Like, just yeah, you know what I mean? Had no responsibilities. This was, I had Jordan was just born at the time. Well, I think Jordan was 2 when he left, but it's just like, dude, that to me, I thought that was just the coolest thing in the world, man. And he just got to go travel and we'll do all this cool shit.
Yeah, I can't help but be envious of something like that. Just you being able to just pack up and just take off and just explore. I mean, that's ultimate freedom right there.
Yeah, man. Like, but it's like the unknown. It's like, what am I gonna do when I get to this place? Like, what am I gonna do? And he's just like, he figured it out, man. It was just he wanted to go to these different places. And while let's say in Amsterdam, and so he'd meet somebody in Amsterdam, and they're like, oh man, you really got to go to Morocco, or you really got to go here. Like this place is. So then that he would go there. because somebody was like, that place is awesome. And then he'd go there and work whatever job. So he even worked at like a hostel. He was like that's where he stayed and he worked there when he was in
Wow,
Amsterdam. Yeah, bro. Crazy.
man.
But I thought that was super cool, man. And that'd be something that'd be fun to do if you didn't, your kids are grown, like Jordan's grown, he's off doing his own thing, and me and
Yeah,
Christine's responsibilities or whatever. We don't. I think that that'd be fun, man. Just
it would be.
explore and go have an adventure, you know.
Yeah, because life is an adventure, they say. So
True, true. And
that's
it's
a
like
good.
I don't know, man. You gotta if there's stuff you want to do, you got to try at least. You know what I mean? Life is so short, bro. You never know what tomorrow holds. The only thing in life that's guaranteed is death, bro. And I don't not trying to get all morbid and stuff, but literally that's the only thing in life that's guaranteed. And so while you're here, do have fun, man. Do what you do, help other people out, man. Be a pillar of the community, man. Go have fun, go explore if that's what you want to do. But somehow make your mark on this world. Be a good person, and then basically at the end of the day, have fun too. That's what life's
Yeah.
about to me, man.
No, no, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's what I'm trying to learn myself right now is learn to live. I wasted a lot. I know there's a lesson in everything, but I look back and go, I wasted a lot of years, and now I'm trying to, like you said, chase that dream and enjoy life. You know, and losing the people we have, it's also kind of a big reality check too. It's like life is short. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and it's like you got to you got to forge your own path and try to make something of it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yes, sir.
Well, this has been about what 3 hours or so. It's been a while.
Where is it? Isn't there a little thing that shows? Oh, 2 hours and 36 minutes.
Oh, 2 hours. Okay. Yeah, been a while, but
It
that's
has.
that's a good thing. I like
Yeah.
this.
No.
I mean, it flows easy. So I know I had a bunch of questions, but shit, that didn't even work out. So I'm like, this worked better.
Man,
So,
maybe this was another practice run, and you could take parts of this and then do it again, and take parts of that, splice it together, edit it out.
well, this is gonna be a weird learning experience for me. So it's like I'm I'm not a technical person, and I'm not a person that likes to be on
Me neither.
camera and front of camera. And it's like so this, and I'm still learning this whole website too, the whole streaming and stuff. So there's probably gonna be a little stumbles, but we'll make it work, and hopefully it starts to snowball into something more. One can only hope. But like I said, I got probably 20, 30 different subjects, topics. So, I mean, if you're down for more topics and subjects, that'd be cool.
For sure.
Because
Definitely.
there's a couple I know that you'd be perfect for. Like, I know the one that stands out is the role models and stuff because of what you've
Oh
done
wow.
for
I
the Be
appreciate that,
Legendary.
man. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. It's like because like we were talking last week, it's like you just what you've done with the Be Legendary, what you've done with Jordan and the kids and basketball. I mean, that's just something to be admired and respected. And I totally, every time I see something that you post about it, it's like, man, that's fucking awesome. It's it's cool. So it's like
Thank
that's definitely I want to dive into your brain about that sort of thing, about being role models and being there for the kids and being that positive light. So
well well thank you, man. That truly from the bottom of my heart means a lot to me, man, because that's it's been a huge part of my life, bro. And to be 100% honest with you, like starting that ever since we started it, those kids have made me a better person, man. Because now you know what I mean? Like I want them to look at me and be like not ashamed. Does that make sense? Like I don't want them to
oh
look at
yeah,
me
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, that coach
No,
was a fucking jackass, or he was this. I want them to be like, man, that was like that was a good time in their life. They learned things, and they literally made me a better person, bro. And so I got to thank them for that as well. Literally every single kid leaves a mark on you. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
help me out just as much as maybe I've helped them. And again, like I said earlier, is it's really cool because some of those kids I still stay in contact with, man. Quite a few of them. And Yeah, it's amazing, man. You never know the impact you'll have on somebody's life, dude. Really, until you do something, just like that, man. And like with this right here, you never know what kind of impact you'll have on somebody that watches this one day, and it just resonates with them and hits home. And now all of a sudden you've helped out somebody and you didn't even know it. Like you had no idea.
Yeah,
And so when I started doing the basketball thing, I didn't know that's what it was going to be. Literally, it was just I loved basketball. Jordan really was starting to like basketball. His buddies liked basketball, and so it's like, let's give these kids an opportunity, man. And then it just turned into something that was I never knew that it would be. I had no idea that that's what it would be. And like I always told myself too, man, that I would never. This was something that's really cool. Is I would never be somebody's last coach. I would never be the reason why somebody quit a sport. That's what I meant behind it. Is I would never be somebody's last coach. I would never. I would always try to push myself and be the person that made that kid fall in love with the sport and want to keep going with it. And so like that was something in the very beginning that, you know what I mean, when I wrote everything out, what my mission statement was, what my goals were with this. And I just put on there, I don't ever want to be somebody's last coach. And people are like, what does that mean? What about when the kids graduate? And I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to be the reason why somebody quits a sport or falls out of love with a sport. And
yeah,
so I tried to stay true to
it's
that,
a good
man. And
philosophy.
yeah. And so yeah, man, just tried to stay true to that. And I think I have. And I know I've inspired a lot of kids to keep playing basketball. But I've always said, too, that basketball was just the platform. It was never about basketball. Basketball is the platform that you can learn from. You learn how to face your fears, man. You learn how to overcome obstacles. You learn how to teamwork. Self-confidence is the biggest thing, man. That for me was just watching these kids grow, man, and have confidence in themselves and then start believing in themselves. Like that to me, that was huge. And
Yeah,
yeah, man, when you see that, man, it just motivates you to be better. It motivates you to be like, okay, now the next kid, and it's cool. It's a snowball effect, bro.
yep. Well, you've done great jobs with it, so that's definitely why next time we talk, we'll probably
Cool.
do that kind of episode. So, but yeah, it definitely be a good thing. So,
Sounds good to me.
all right, brother. Well, I think I don't even know what time it is.
It's probably
Shit, dude, it's like
2:30. It's
2:30 here. So my wife's
yep,
probably like,
yep.
why the hell hasn't he come to bed yet? So yeah, it's all
Well,
good.
I'm sorry, man. I have to apologize, man, that we got off topic and kind of went a different direction. And I think we only answered what two of your questions, but like I said, man, we
It's
can do
good.
this. We can do it again, and you can edit out whatever, and maybe put the two together and get the questions answered, man.
I'm when I'm putting this together, I was like, I just want to kind of be free form, more raw, unedited, unfiltered. Just let it flow. I think
Yeah,
I think that resonates with people more because it's just two guys talking. We're
yeah,
just bullshitting. We're talking about things. If we mix, I'm gonna mess up. I'm gonna fumble my words because I'm not used to this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna look kind of like an idiot sometimes. It is what it is. I don't care, but
yeah.
I think it makes
I
it
did the
more.
same thing. I did that same thing
I
tonight,
think
man.
it,
This is
yeah. I think it makes it more real. Because I
yeah,
think the authenticity is where it's at right now. I think people are just so fake. They don't know how to be authentic, and they don't know how to. You know what? I'm gonna look stupid sometimes when I'm doing this. I'm gonna feel stupid, but you know what? That's part of life. It's part about
yeah,
being a man. You're gonna stumble. You're gonna make fun of yourself. You're gonna feel stupid. You're gonna do stupid shit. But you know what? Shrug it off, learn from it, and move on. That's where wisdom comes from. Is when you fail, you learn something and you do something better next time. That's how you gain wisdom. And
yep,
this whole thing is going to be a learning experience for me. This internet, this streaming, podcasting, talking to people, learning how and what to say. I'm going to fumble, but you know what? That's part of learning. And I'm excited about learning. I'm not excited about stumbling, but I know that's part of the
yeah,
process. So if
yep,
I have to go through that to make it to where, in maybe a year where we're really rolling and we got people and we're really just everybody knows and we're helping people, that's all I want, man.
No, that's awesome, man. I think you're doing a good thing, man. Keep it up, and is whatever I can do to help and support, let me know.
For sure, man. For sure. I'll be in touch with you probably tomorrow or something.
Sounds
I'll
good.
probably watch the video and see how things go, and so I'm gonna have to watch it and see how it turned out. So I don't even know how it turns out. So it's just been
Well,
recording. So
yeah, when you do all that and you've watched it and whatever, yeah, if you don't mind, send it to me, man. I'd like to watch it too.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you and see what you think, and if you need something edited out or whatever, just let me know. I can do that. So that's why I like to record these things. It's like, okay, well, I can edit some things out because I know there's going to be like, maybe some names don't want to be mentioned. You got to respect that. Some words shouldn't be said, so you got to kind of blur those out. But I'm still learning on all that stuff because if you want to be like on YouTube and stuff, there's like terms of service. So you can only do certain things. You can't say this, can't say that. So that's why I gotta go through and edit it. But yeah, I'll send it when I look at it tomorrow, and I'll send you a copy this week. So and then you can kind of go over it.
Sounds good, man. With that being said, you can edit out all the stuff about Holly, man. She don't need to be in
That's the best part of it, man. We can make fun of her. So I can see it
We
now.
should.
I'm gonna get that call or I'm gonna get that text or something like, I'm gonna kick your ass, something like that. So,
That's her famous last words. I'm gonna kick your ass. She always be saying that.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh,
So, all right, man. Well, you have a good rest of the night.
all right, man. You too, bro.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, later.